Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Shake it, but keep pointing out all the lies. Putting the scripture right in your eyes. The Bible guy. He reads Hebrew and Greek and shows you that your book's not unique. The Bible guy. He turns through the pages until every Christian rages. The Bible guy. Watch one time and you're hooked. Now let's watch why the Christians get cooked. The Bible guy.
Hello to everyone there on YouTube and TikTok. This is the Bible Guy Show coming at you live from Northeast Texas. So just a heads up for everyone on YouTube, my social stream dashboard, for whatever reason, isn't working properly. So I am going to still be reading the super chats. They just won't be appearing on screen. I don't know why sometimes it works and why sometimes it doesn't. I'm going to have to get with Justin on this later and figure out what the hell is going on and what is it that I'm doing wrong here. But I still will be reading your super chats. You just won't be able to see them on the screen. Now, with that being said, I already have a super chat to read. So I'm going to go ahead and do that.
That's Brianna Evans with the $4.99. Recently had a Christian threaten to grape and unalive me for not believing in Jesus. No hate, like Christian love, I guess.
It's kind of crazy how often this actually happens, because it's not like a rare occurrence. I've seen twice now Christian men on TikTok and telling atheist women that they are going to rape them. Like, what is it about TikTok Christianity that produces this kind of behavior in young men? It's crazy. It's crazy. Hopefully they'll find some sense about them and realize that they are, being pieces of shit. Hello, Ashland.
Hi. Sorry I'm late.
Oh,
I sneezed a little too hard.
Oh, you're fine. Yeah, I don't know what the hell is going on with my dashboard. I wish I mean, all week it's been working just fine. Then today, I open it up and nothing.
If it makes you feel any better, I can't find my glasses.
That, in fact, does not help at all.
I'm like super sneezy. I sneezed super hard earlier and now I can't find my glasses. So I'm not having the best of days either.
Okay, Velma. My glasses! I can't find my glasses.
That is legitimately me 9 out of 10 times.
Did you try unplugging it and plugging it back in? Said TikTok Chris. I did in fact try that twice. Did not work. But it's fine because I'm looking at, I got like this little app that basically allows me to look at the super chat. So I will be paying attention to y'all's super chats tonight to make sure that I'm able to read them, even though you won't be able to see them on the screen. So I do it again and again until it feels right. Sent Aaron. Oh my gosh. I'm hoping for a good and long stream today. Conspiracy theories and anti-Semitism included. I hope we don't see any of conspiracy theories or anti-Semitism. I would love to be able to talk about the Bible without any of the conspiracy theory nutbags getting in here and ruining all the fun. How is everyone on super sneezy dwarf superhero? What? It's not just TikTok generations of telling them they are special because they're boys. Oh, right.
Is a
dwarf
from
yes, yeah. All right, so everyone, make sure you're tapping that screen, sharing the live with those you love, with those you hate, with your friends, with your enemies. let's get the word out there so we can have some interesting conversations and see whether or not any Christian or Jewish individuals are going to be able to support any of the points on the board. Personally, I'm not super confident in their ability to do so. Tap Dalton until he screams, says Aaron. You heard him. Tap me until I scream. And then keep tapping. Let's see. Koshka says, "Hey Dalton, let's cook." Absolutely. If you are, until I get some opposition, if you're a friendly and you'd like to come up and ask your questions or just have a discussion about the Bible, feel free to ask up, and we'll bring you up until we get some opposition. What's this about? Brother Dalton, can you turn up your audio? It is all the way up. It's all the way up. Am I coming in too faintly or something? Audio sounds good.
You sound just fine to me. I don't know why some people hear you differently, but I'm also on TikTok, not YouTube.
Don't turn up audio. Audio seems good on YouTube. All right. I guess I'll just read another super. Oh wait. I got some guests. So I guess I'll bring in a guest, and then we'll read some more super chats after the next guest. So David, I'm going to ask you the same 4 questions I ask every one of my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1: are you at least 18 years old?
Yes.
Question number 2: are you a Bible believer?
No.
All right, I'll skip question 3 and go to question 4. Question 4: what are your pronouns?
He, him.
All right, David, he, him. What brings you up to the Bible Guy Show?
So I was studying Zechariah 12.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to ask this question, right? When I looked at the original Hebrew, it says, "They shall look unto me because of the ones who were thrust through."
Yeah.
But John wants you to look at the figure, like the one that was pierced, not God.
Yeah, the author of John changes the wording of Zechariah 12:10. So for anyone who doesn't know, this is Zechariah chapter 12, verse 10, which, if when translated properly, says, "They shall look upon me concerning him who is pierced, and mourn for him as one mourns for an only son." But the author of John changes the wording of this ever so slightly, and it doesn't reflect what's written in the Septuagint. So I don't know where the gospel author of John is getting this, but he translates it, but he renders the text as, "They shall look to him who was pierced," not "they shall look to me concerning him who was pierced." They just get rid of God altogether in the verse and just have everyone looking upon Jesus, the one who is pierced.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. I spent like a lot of time looking at this. I still feel like I'm a little confused.
Let's take a look at the Septuagint and see what it says. Let's see. In the Septuagint, let's see. Koi oiktomoi kai epi ble psontai pros me anth on. No, in the Greek it also says, "They shall look to me concerning the one." So it even in the Septuagint, it doesn't read the way that the Gospel of John renders it. So who knows if maybe the author of John had a different rendition of the text that we just don't have anymore. Or it could just be that he's misquoting the text in order to make it more Christological in nature.
Yes, I can see that. So if I understand this right, the mourning is directed towards God, not this pierced figure.
The looking towards is towards Yahweh, but the mourning is for those who were like thrust through in the battle.
Okay.
Yeah, because what we read,
Blepe
what we read.
is seeing.
Say what?
No, the Greek blepe is the seeing
Oh,
part,
yeah.
and it says with what does it say? Blepe.
Prosme to me. Yeah. So previously in verses 1 through 9, what we have is a battle which occurs where all the nations of the world are gathering around Jerusalem and making war against her, but God gives them the victory, but obviously not without cost. There are people who are wounded in the battle, and that's why God says in Zechariah 12:10, they shall look to me concerning he who was pierced. The he there is referring to those who were thrust through in the battle, and they shall mourn for him.
Okay.
Anything else?
Oh no, thank you. I appreciate it.
Happy to help, David.
I've been studying my Greek.
Before I bring up our next guest, I'm going to read some super chats from. Okay, wait a minute. Let me change the.
From at J Klein 17 with the $5. Voice changer on. I've got balls of steel. Indeed, I do. And that's not a lie. That's true. John Klein, I don't know how you got that information. But I do, in fact. I've got balls of steel. And then at Drexel Prep with the $5, saying, Merry Christmas, Dalton, and Happy Holidays to those celebrating theirs. Happy Holidays to you as well, Drex.
Happy holidays to you, indeed. So,
And we know they're not on the screen for TikTok. It's his thingy's broken.
yep, my thingy is broken.
His thingy is broken. Imagine if never mind. I'm not going to say what I was going to say.
Here, I'm going to try to refresh it and see if it is fixed yet. I'll type something in the comments for everyone. And we'll see if it sends out.
What if you were had a fetish for flaccid thingies?
For
Your own flaccid thingy.
I'd be set. No, it's weird. I can't even send out messages using it. I have no idea what the fuck is going on. But luckily, I can still see all super chats, so everything's all good. I'm going to bring up our next guest, Graphics. Graphics, I'm going to ask you the same 4 questions I ask every one of my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
Yes.
Question number 2, are you a Bible believer?
Yes.
Question number 3, how much of the Bible have you read?
All of it.
All right, and question number 4, what are your pronouns?
He, him.
All right, Graphics, he, him. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. Which one of the 6 points on the board did you want to discuss with me?
The Bible is not inspired.
All right. Why should I think that the Bible is inspired?
Well, if you've read it, then you would know that it is. So I'm wondering why you don't think that it is.
I don't think it is because I've read it. When a book is filled with contradictions and scientific and historical errors and unfulfilled prophecy, it leads me to believe that it's no different than any other ancient text.
Unfulfilled what prophecies are unfulfilled?
All of the messianic prophecies, not a single one got fulfilled.
Dude. How many books are in the Old Testament?
Well, which version of the Old Testament? Which
you don't even know, man. You're a fraud, bro.
The Protestant Old Testament, or
you're a fraud, dude.
The Protestant Old Testament, or
listen. Stop posing as an.
The Protestant.
Okay, I have I have 84 books in
Stop
my
posing
Bible.
as an academic.
Graphics. I have 84
You're a
books in one
fraud.
of my Bibles, and I have 66 in another. Which Bible are you
We're
in
talking
reference
about
to?
the Old Testament.
Protestant,
in some of them
Catholic, or
are.
Orthodox?
We're not talking about the intertestamental books. We're talking about
So are you
Yeah,
referring?
it depends on which
Old
Bible.
Testament.
Are you referring to the Old Testament as found in a standard 66 book Protestant Bible?
Genesis to Malachi. How many books?
Okay, then I'm going to just assume that you're referring to the Protestant Old Testament. 39.
You have no idea.
39. It's 39. In a Protestant Old Testament, it's 39. Now, if you were to ask a Jewish person that same question, they would tell you 24. And that's because books like 1st and 2nd Samuel and 1st and 2nd Kings. And by the way, if you leave the screen, no one can hear you. If you count as one book, like Ezra and Nehemiah are one book, so they count the Old Testament as 24 books. Now, Catholics have more books in their Bible. Oh, he left. Womp womp. Wow. Can we get some baby bottles in the comment section, everyone, for that last guest? As soon as he realized that I actually did know what I'm talking about, he started to lose his fucking mind. Because he just assumed, like, that tells you as much as he knew about the Bible, is that he thought that the Old Testament was just the standard Protestant 39 books. The fact that he'd referred to books like 1st and 2nd Maccabees as intertestamental books as opposed to other books of the Old Testament just tells me that he's coming in with like a Protestant presuppositionalism. No, that question of how many books are in the Old Testament entirely depends on which version of the Old Testament are we talking about. I don't just assume like a Protestant mind view when I'm talking about the Bible, because guess what, people? The concept of canon is the invisible, arbitrary, man-made border placed around the Bible. But he just embarrassed himself.
What's his name?
Graphics.
He's Graphics, right?
Yeah. Putting him
Oh,
on.
he's still in here. Graphics, why don't you come back up?
Yeah, Graphics. What the hell are you whining about? Maybe you'd like to come up and have an actual.
I invited Graphics back up, so you're not just going to ask a question and then drop. Like, when he answered your question.
Yeah, he was angry about the fact that I knew more about the Bible than him. He would like other people to think I don't know what I'm talking about, which is why he like absolutely crashed out right off the bat. But sorry, doesn't work. Like literally everyone saw how you got absolutely embarrassed right there. Wizard Babe says, giant man
Oh,
baby. He ran?
He ran from the live now.
Oh.
Yeah. After we saw him.
Oh. User said, just tuned in. Looks like I missed a good one. You did. We had someone, Dalton, do you think that explaining Pesherim creation to those types is profitable? No, these people don't even understand the concept of like canon and how many books are in the Bible. I think the concept of Pesherim is going to go right over their head.
Ken offered to be a TikTok mod. They're an OG, like a super OG.
Oh yeah.
Can be. I can't mod them on TikTok.
Yeah, for some reason it doesn't allow me to add them as a mod on the monitor. Maybe if I go on my my app, I'll be able to do it. Let's take a look.
Don't go into the live or
I know.
you.
God listening says, "Oh shit, I'm a mod." LOL. Indeed you are. Indeed you are, bud. Okay, let's see. Let's go look for Ken's profile. Ken B. There you are. Let's see if I can add them as a mod from here. Customize name, send message. No, I wonder why I can't just
You can just do it.
say what? Say what?
You can just do it after. I know who can be as very well, so I can just let you know to mod them.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm not able to do that from my phone. I mean, from the computer. It's weird. Anyways, let's see. Waves the ban hammer with judgment. That's so good. That's so good. So, anyways, Christians, if you're willing to have a cordial and adult conversation with me, unlike our last guest, come on up and let's have a conversation. No need to act all hostile and get your britches all in a bundle. Yes, I do know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm not just making shit up. Don't just assume I know nothing and then come up here and embarrass yourself. Becomes mod, removes final boss ban. You know what? Maybe in like a month, I'll add final boss. I'll remove him from the ban list, but he needs to sit in timeout for his nonsense. David says, "Leave them britches alone." Indeed, leave them britches alone. And here we got another super chat.
That Ryan League with the $1.99. They didn't say anything, but Ryan League, thank you for your donation.
Sir says, you talked to Final Boss. I did talk to Final Boss twice, sir. And on both occasions, he absolutely crashed the fuck out. And for anyone who wants to see those conversations, you're more than welcome to go. And if you're a member, you will get access to these videos this week. And on Friday, everyone else, you'll be able to get access to the Final Boss discussion videos. Now, we got a new guest up on the line. Andy Candy. I'm going to ask you the same 4 questions I ask everyone, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
I'm gonna say no.
Then I'm going to say no.
Yeetus the fetus, Jesus.
This isn't a kindergarten. We don't babysit. That's your parents' job, not mine. Oh, sir says he has threatened to unalive me like 10 times. Oh, he's the best. I don't doubt it at all. He's super. Final Boss was super unhinged. The cat in the chat says, "What is your name? What is your question? What is your favorite color?" Dalton, what is your quest? To spread truth. And what is your favorite color? Cerulean. I just picked a random one. I don't really have a favorite color. Let's see. Mauve? I like to, yeah. Hey, Forrest Mendes, what's up, bud? Anyways, if you are a Christian or you're not a Christian and you just want to come up and ask your questions, this is the perfect time to. We don't have any opposition on the board right now, so feel free to come up, ask your questions, or Godless Engineer, if you want to just come hang out with us for a little bit, that's fine too. Whatever fills in the air. Let's see. Did I miss Deathless Light, aka Final Boss, on this live? I would have loved to have seen that. Cody Lynn, you are a reoccurring guest, but just so we can get a reminder for everyone on the live, age, Bible believer, yes or no, how much of the Bible you read, and pronouns.
53. Not a Bible believer anymore. I've read throughout my life all of it. And she, her.
All right, Cody Lynn, what brings you up to the Bible Guy Show?
I have a question. In Genesis, when
could you
Abraham...
speak up a little bit louder? My audience is having a hard time hearing you.
Is this better?
Yes.
Okay. In Genesis, when Abraham is in the tent and it says the Lord comes to meet him, and it says, Abraham says, let me wash your feet, all that happy stuff. Later in Hebrews, it says, I think it's Hebrews 13:10. It's explained away as those were the angels of the Lord. So was that supposed to have been God, or was it supposed to have been the angels of the Lord? I
Originally,
want to say it's like,
originally it was intended to be an angel that came and visited Abraham under the terebinths of Mamre. It literally says at the very beginning of the text in Genesis 18 verse 1, and Yahweh appeared to Abraham under the terebinths of Mamre. Now, over time, Jewish people got more and more uncomfortable with the idea of a God who was got his elbows dirty in the muck and grime of humanity and in the physical world. So over time, especially as Greek influence filled the Jewish people, God becomes more and more transcendent, and eventually things that were once like known to be actions of God were later reinterpreted as being the actions of angels. For example, Jacob wrestles with Yahweh, and Yahweh dislocates his hip. The book of Hosea changes that to say that it was the angel of the Lord that Jacob wrestled with. And in the same way, the book of Hebrews is also renegotiating with the text of Genesis to place an angel in the place of Yahweh in the book of Genesis chapter 18.
okay, thank you so much.
Happy to help.
And I don't know how to step down, so
Oh.
you might have to kick me.
I got you. All good.
Thank you for coming up. We love hearing that you deconstructed. So
Yeah, W for deconstruction. Nice guest. Yes, indeed. That was a very nice guest. But if you are a Christian and you think you have a good reason for me to believe that the Bible is inspired, or that Jesus was the Messiah, or that Jesus rose from the dead, or that he was God, or that the Bible is anti-abortion, or that the Bible is in fact a good source for morals, come on up. Let's have that conversation, because I don't think any of those things are true.
Brianna keeps asking, what is your favorite mythology?
My favorite mythology, oof. I mean, obviously it's got to be like Israelite mythology, because I spend a lot of time talking about it. But excluding Israelite mythology, I'm going to have to go. It's going to be either Norse mythology or Greek mythology. I'll go with Norse mythology. Yeah. I have a really nice book that I listened to on Norse mythology. But Greek mythology is a close after that one. You can thank God of War for me liking both of those. Colette says, fuck yeah, Norse mythology. Phew. Yeah, I mean, Norse mythology is interesting. The gods are extremely human in a sense. In these stories, they're very interesting. You get a good little peek at Norse culture as well through these myths. And their creation myth is quite strange, like that the world was physically made from the corpse of a giant named Ymir. The clouds are part of his brains, and the mountains are his skin. I mean, it's all very cool. Growing up Christian, I always thought that these other mythologies were strange. And yet I never considered the fact that the mythology that I grew up with was no different. It's later than you think says no one would ever want his future. Whose future? Let's not play the pronoun game. No one would ever want Dalton's future, the Bible guy's future. I don't know.
By the way, Brianna didn't like spam or anything. It just showed up twice. It was the same one. I'm not trying to put Brianna out to be a spammer. Brianna is an awesome follower. I see them all the time in atheist channels. Sorry, Brianna.
It's later than you think says maybe ask yourself why someone who calls himself the Bible guy says it's not true. Yeah, for everyone who doesn't know, I'm called the Bible guy because Christians, I know the Bible better than you do. That's why I'm called the Bible guy. To me, that's as dumb as spending all day, every day saying 2 + 2 does not equal 4. No, That's not analogous. It's me saying that the Bible's not true is me calling myself the math guy and telling you over and over again that 2 + 2 does not equal 5 because the claims of the Bible do not correlate to reality. What's his payoff? What possible reason does he have for trying to persuade you? I like truth. I like truth. Now we got a new super chat.
That Juno Boy's toy with the $10. Do not cite the old magic to me, witch. I was there when it was written. Quote from Aslan, from The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Oh man, I who doesn't love The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe? I mean, I know it's kind of super hardcore Christian-y, but still, I grew up on it, and it's for me, it's like a Christmas movie. But that's also a meme. Do not cite the old magic to me, witch. Yeah. Now, what was this person going on about? He's already eaten way too many bugs, but that appetite can't be stopped. I look at that. Listen, whenever you make fat jokes about me, all that tells me and my audience is that you don't have any good arguments in favor of your position, or else one, you would come up and actually talk to me, and two, you wouldn't resort to like body shaming me. That's only because your arguments are absolute. But enough said. He gets 50 pounds heavier with every lifetime and doesn't every lifetime. I've only got one lifetime, bud, unless you want to demonstrate that I have multiple lifetimes. Like, that's not even a Christian, reincarnation is not even a Christian position, so that's a weird thing for you to say. I'm guessing you're a Christian because you're just being obtuse, obnoxious, and an ass, and that's generally the Christian thing to do on this app.
Get up here and turn on their camera.
Right?
It's later than you think. If you want to do that, I sent you an invite up. Come up and turn on your camera.
Yeah, don't
show us how pretty you are.
I hope these guys don't get to you. You are like, no, it doesn't get to me at all. Like, I'm very happy with myself, and it only makes me laugh every time I see one of these idiots say something like that, because it only validates what I'm saying even further. So we're gonna bring up the next guest, Dukenheim. Dukenheim, I'm going to ask you.
You said Dunkin'. I know your mind's always on Dunkin' Donuts. But look, so you want to prove that the Bible exists?
Whoa, one second. Dukenheim, I'm going to ask you the same 4 preliminary questions that I ask all my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
Yeah, I'm 26.
All right, question number 2, are you a Bible believer?
Nope. I'm Christian.
So you're a Christian, but you don't believe in the Bible. You don't believe that the Bible is true?
Yeah, it's not an authority. The church is... I believe some parts are true.
I didn't ask you if it was an authority. I just asked you if
Don't start to, please.
I just asked you if you are like a Bible believer. Means that you believe, for example, that God exists, that Jesus was the Messiah, that he rose from the dead. Like you believe the claims of the Bible.
I believe some of the claims of the Bible, yeah.
All right. Question number 3, how much of the Bible have you read?
Read the whole thing.
All right. And question number 4, what are your pronouns?
I'm gender fluid.
Well, which one would you prefer to go by for this purpose of this live?
Let's just say he, him.
Any was generally gender fluid, yeah. Just FYI, Dalton.
Dukenheim, he, him. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. Which one of the 6 points on the board would you like to discuss with me?
Yeah, let's go for the Bible's not anti-abortion. Are you gonna give me Exodus 21:22 through 25, or the bitter water ordeal?
No, I'm not going to get you the bitter water ordeal, because that's not an abortion passage. And technically, Exodus 21 is not an abortion passage, but it does show us that it's the only passage we have about the termination of a fetus in the womb, and it doesn't prescribe capital punishment, which would be the appropriate penalty for murder. So there's when I say the Bible's not anti-abortion,
it shows it's not a life.
It's not. It's not another life. It's not considered a living soul according to the standards of the ancient Israelites.
I don't think it, being anti-abortion or saying that we ought not abort is conditional on that. I think it's conditional on other things, not just the thing being alive. Conditional on the fact that it can be alive, has potential to be alive. It's conditional on the fact that
Well, we don't
genotypically similar to humans.
we don't care about potential, and also this is not, you're making an argument from the Bible that's anti-abortion.
Well, that's not true. The problem is saying the Bible's not anti-abortion.
Yeah, can you
You just haven't
demonstrate?
given me any substantiation.
Can you demonstrate that the Bible is anti-abortion?
You want a burden shift? Oh, okay, fair enough.
No,
That
I
can be
mean,
pretty easily.
I'd say the Bible's not anti-abortion because no one's been able to make an argument from the Bible against abortion.
Yeah, I could just give you a simple argument, right? So premise one, if it's possible that the Bible is anti-abortion and, it's necessary in some world there's anti-abortion, then it's possibly necessary there's anti-abortion.
No, he is
It's
not.
possibly necessary there's anti-abortion, then obviously, it is
So
anti-abortion. right?
could you actually instead of I don't care about possibilities and all that kind of bullshit. Can you actually demonstrate that the Bible is anti-abortion in real life?
Yeah, I could do that pretty easily, right? So Exodus
Yeah,
21
just
through
with
20
Bible verses.
Exodus 21, 22 through 25 substantiates it.
How does that substantiate that the Bible is anti-abortion?
Yeah, because you have to pay recompense for killing a fetus.
Okay, but that's not abortion. That's not
Typically, if you're
that,
anti something, you have to pay recompense for doing the thing.
that wasn't an abortion, was it? Was the woman in that story like a willing participant in the termination of the fetus?
They don't imply, they don't really tell us. But,
All
I
right.
can say no, for example.
All right. So if it doesn't say that she's a willing participant, then this is definitely not an abortion. So that can't be an argument for abortion.
That's not what I'm saying, though. I'm saying that it's shown an instance of, terminating a fetus, right? And in this instance, right, it's just the case you have to pay some recompense for doing so.
Yeah,
which implies that,
because you've committed a property crime. Like that person didn't want their fetus terminated, and you performed an action
would
that
abortion not be a
resulted
property crime?
only if it was done against the will of the parents.
Do they have to prove that women have wills or women have capacity to deploy will?
They
The
did.
fuck?
Yeah, Ashlyn, do you think that you have
Can
the
you
ability
prove
to? Do you think you have the ability to have deploy a will? That you have the ability to make choices?
Last time I checked.
You could say, she could say that, right? Just like AI could say the same thing. It doesn't mean that actually it's true. So can you prove it?
Dukenham, I don't believe that you have the ability to deploy a will.
How is that relevant?
Well, if you're just going to make like
That could be true. I mean,
if
so
you're
far,
just-
you understand that?
if you're just going to say silly things, like the Bible doesn't even make the claim that women don't have the capacity to deploy a will.
The Quran does, though, and I hold to the
I
Quran and
don't-
the Bible.
You hold to the
The
Quran.
fuck? Are
Wait,
you trying to make yourself?
Are you a Muslim?
Yeah, I'm Muslim, but I accept the Islamic dilemma. That's why I'm saying that.
You said you were a Christian earlier.
Look, buddy, so let me explain my view, right? So I believe in...
I'm going to ask you a question, and I don't want you to lie to me. Are you a Christian or are you a Muslim? You cannot be both.
I'm both.
You cannot be both. You're a troll.
He's a
Can you prove
troll.
that?
He's a troll.
I'm not going to waste my time talking to someone who's not a serious interlocutor. You're a liar. Yeah. Blue Beam is correct. He's a liar and a loser. Absolutely. What a waste of time. What a waste of space. All right. Isn't lying haram? Yeah, I think it is. Well, except for if you're lying for Islam, then apparently it's okay to do. So I guess we'll bring up the next.
That's true. That's not true.
You can't lie for Islam?
It's that I don't think that that's an actual serious verse. I think that was taken out of context by a Christian, like actually taken out of context this time. But I would have to look into it.
Shocker. Rob, I'm going to ask you the same 4 preliminary questions I ask every one of my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
Yes.
Question number 2, are you a Bible believer?
Yes.
Question number 3, how much of the Bible have you read?
I've read the gospel and a lot of the Old Testament.
So at least
Does that count?
So at least 50%?
Yeah, at least 50%.
All right. I love how it's later than you think is like going off in the comments. I haven't read a single message you've wrote, dude. Anyways, and Rob, question number 4. What are your pronouns?
He, him.
All right, Rob, he, him. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. Which one of the 6 points on the board would you like to discuss with me?
Yeah, since the last dude was up here, he's Islamic. He was a lion.
Wait, I have no idea if he was Islamic. He was inconsistent. I think he was a troll.
Yeah, every lie you tell, you lose one less virgin when you get to heaven. And according to the Quran.
What they don't tell you is that the 42 virgins you receive are actually 42 neckbeards who live in their mother's basement who play Dungeons and Dragons. They didn't tell you that part. But you know, but anyways, Rob,
I thought it was 72 myself.
Oh, I don't care. I don't know. Yeah. But anyways, Rob, which one of the 6 points did you want to talk to me about?
Yeah. Abortion again, like Moses' mom tried to abort him by putting him in a basket and sending him down the river.
That's not an abortion.
And
Moses was already
that's
born.
just getting rid of your baby.
Well, no. Abortion specifically is the termination of a pregnancy. No, Moses was already born, and his mother wasn't trying to kill him. She was trying to save him from death. So it's quite literally the opposite.
Well, a lot of abortions fail, like in terms of they induce labor and the baby survives, and then they just toss it.
But this wasn't an abortion. She wasn't pregnant. Moses was already born, and also
she was pregnant. How did she have Moses?
Moses was already born. You can't have abortions for babies that are already born. You can only have it for fetuses in the womb. And also, she wasn't trying to kill Moses. If you go back and you read Exodus, she specifically places him amongst the reeds so that he won't be murdered by Pharaoh's men.
Okay, well, I think she could have figured out a better way than just putting him in a basket and sending him down the river.
Myths are gonna myth. I don't know what to tell you, bud. People in fictitious stories do all kinds of crazy stuff. But either way, this isn't an abortion. Not even close.
Okay, then let's go for the Bible is not a good source for morals. How do you figure that?
Do you think slavery is good or bad?
It's bad if it's an actual slavery situation, but in terms of the Bible, we're just talking about maybe being employed.
No, not being employed.
Working for someone.
Nope, not being employed. Have you read what the Bible actually says about slaves?
Yeah, it's like slave owners should treat their slaves a certain way, like a good way, and slaves should be good in return.
Do you think that beating your slave so long as they don't die in 2 or 3 days is good treatment or bad treatment?
It depends on what they did to deserve the beating, I guess.
Nope. No one deserves to get beaten.
I mean,
no one deserves
if they didn't deserve to get beat, then that's bad.
No one deserves to get beaten. That's bad. That's called abuse. That's bad treatment. Employers aren't even allowed to beat their employees. But if a slave, when a man strikes his slave, male or female, with a rod and the slave dies under his hand, he shall be punished. But if the slave survives a day or two, he is not to be punished, for the slave is his money. In other words, this person is your property, therefore you're allowed to beat them so long as you don't kill them. That's not good. And that's not an employer-employee relationship. That is master versus property.
Yeah, but that was back. What was that verse in
Exodus 21?
All right. I'll write that down.
There's also
Rob, dude. it's great to treat women as second-class citizens and not give them choices and stone them for not bleeding on their wedding night, or in the case of rape.
Where did you read that?
Yeah, Deuteronomy 22 talks about a woman who doesn't bleed on her wedding night, and if basically she's not found to be a virgin by them, and they stone her to death.
What the? What are you saying? Like bleeding? Like she's
Like
on
her
her period?
hymen, no, hymen, proof of her virginity, a hymen tear. But not all women, only about half of women bleed on their first time.
Yeah, I guess I've never made a woman bleed, even though I'm 8 inches. I don't know.
Didn't need to know that.
Sorry, I'm not trying to.
There are
give you too
400
much
people in this live.
information.
Do
But
you think that was a very Christian response to what she just said?
I think women get up here on TikTok and they feel all entitled and want to like hate on men.
Well, I think
There's a lot of like,
as a man, I think Christian men give women on TikTok enough reason to hate on men. I think it's more than justified.
Yeah, when men commit 99% of all violent crimes, I think we have a reason to distrust and not approve of the actions of y'all. When we do most of what we call invisible labor for y'all, meaning provide for like food, make your food, care for the kids, and it's unpaid labor. When we enter into jobs, even though studies have found that we're better at doing things like surgeon, management, like leader roles, we get paid less than y'all, and this is all because of a society set up by men. We're not the emotional ones. We're not the ones out there. The violence is an emotion, by the way. It's an anger. And y'all are far more emotional in situations. You're more likely to self-unalive, which is because of emotions and lack of ability to control emotions. Not to say that it's anyone's fault, but that is a fact. That instead of therapy and actually managing it, that is one a course, and instead we're labeled as this, and it's generally part of it stems from this new Christian conservative movement. If you read works like Jesus and John Wayne and things like that, you can see how this evangelical notion made Jesus into this being that did not exist in the text. So you don't know about the misogyny, even though you've been a Christian probably for some time, because you've never bothered to open the text and you listen to a man instead of reading the material.
well, I went back and apologized to my ex-girlfriend for calling her just life support for a vagina. And told her she is more than that.
What
She
the
is
hell
my
are you-
dishwasher.
What
when
the
I
hell-
run out of detergent.
What the hell are you even on about, dude?
Fuck.
I need you to chill the fuck out and listen for a quick fucking second. I'm gonna talk as a woman because I know he hates women. Rob, do you think that innocent women should be murdered for having done nothing?
No, what the hell is going on here? Your voice just changed. I don't even see the comments going.
So, you don't think that innocent women deserve to be murdered, and yet the Bible has no problem with this.
No, I will just tell them to get in the kitchen.
Okay, you're a troll.
Yeah. I don't think that was a troll. I think he was just a dick.
There's no. I mean, it's hard to tell.
There is a no. I can. That was not a troll.
It was just an idiot then. Duncan S. glitter.
It's the age for me. That was just a clueless old man who haven't felt the love of a woman because of how he acts towards them.
Oof. Probably 100% true. The Mr. Eddie said 100% genuine piece of shit fuckface. Yeah. Y'all got to see the Bible gal there for a second. All right. Christians. Are there any Christians out there that can serve as good examples of their community? Because it seems like only the worst ones seem to come up. So we'll try with See the Light. See the Light, I'm going to ask you the same 4 questions that I ask every one of my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
I am.
Question number 2, are you a Bible believer?
I am.
Question number 3, how much of the Bible have you read?
70 to 80%.
And question number 4, what are your pronouns?
I don't go by any.
Everyone goes by pronouns.
No, they don't. It's
so you don't.
he, him.
There you go. See the Light, he, him. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. Which one of the 6 points on the board would you like to discuss with me?
The Bible is inspired.
All right. Why do you think the Bible is inspired?
Because it's historical. I am actually in Bible college right now and going through the Old Testament survey in a class that is historical from the Egyptians, the geographical landmarks in the Old Testament. It means that we can see the nation of Israel.
And what do we do with the fact that there are non-historical things in the Bible, things that don't track with actual history? For example, the fact that we have the authors of the New Testament place Jesus' birth at 2 different points in history.
May you give an example or a Bible passage?
Yes. According to the Gospel of Matthew, Jesus was born during the reign of King Herod the Great. According to the Gospel of Luke, however, he was born during the census under Quirinius. The problem is... What was that?
No, there's no contradiction.
Well, do you know when Herod the Great ruled as the king of Judea?
No, I don't.
So Herod ruled as the king of Judea from 40 BCE to 4 BCE. The problem with this is that the census under Quirinius, which is when the Gospel of Luke says Jesus was born, wasn't until 10 years after King Herod the Great was already dead.
I don't know.
Yes, I suggest you, since you're in Bible college, are you familiar with Flavius Josephus?
Who?
Flavius Josephus, the 1st century Palestinian historian.
No.
So he was a Jewish historian who was writing in the 1st century CE. If we want to know anything about the history of Palestine in the 1st century CE, our primary source is going to be Flavius Josephus's works. Flavius Josephus gives us a history of the Herods, including Herod the Great, how he died, and how his sons took over his place, and then how the census under Quirinius took place well after his death. So Jesus can't be born when King Herod the Great is king of Judea, but also during the census under Quirinius.
Okay, but the Bible says in the synoptic Gospels that Christ was born, and of the both the line of David and the Old Testament points to Christ, the birth of Christ.
So the problem with the genealogy, we can't really know that Jesus was actually a son of David or descendant of David, because the two genealogies we have for Jesus, as found in the Gospels of Matthew and Luke, do not agree with each other.
Okay, bye.
You muted
Your
yourself.
mic.
You muted
Yeah,
yourself.
your mic.
Oh, I think they left. Okay. Anyways, make sure everyone that you're tapping that screen, sharing the live with those you love, with those you hate, with your friends and with your enemies. Let's get the word out so we can have some interesting conversations about whether or not I should believe in any of the 6 points on the Bible. Well done, Dalton. Love you even more now. Oh, love you too, landlocked sailor Mike. What do you do with a drunken sailor?
What do you do with a drunken sailor?
In the morning.
I'm a whole choir.
Sing what is it? Farewell, adieu to my Spanish ladies.
I don't know that song.
Oh, okay. Why does everyone say it sounds like me?
Hi guys, my name is Ashland, and I know a lot about psychology and stuff. Let's talk about the cerebral cortex, which is a part of the brain.
What part of the brain?
Fun fact, walnuts look like brains if you look at them.
No, they don't.
Yeah, if you open them up, they kind of look like brains a little bit.
So cerebral cortex meaning bark. It is the bark of the brain. It's the outermost part of the brain.
Ooh.
The pineal gland is called the pineal gland because pineal means pine cone, and the pineal gland does resemble a pine cone.
That's a true fact, actually. That's something I actually did know.
That is.
Yeah.
There is a part of the brain called mammillary bodies, and it's because some neuroscientists thought they look like boobs.
W to those neuroscientists.
It's all dudes.
I
It's
got
just all dudes.
I got boobs on the brain. It's confirmed. We're so sophisticated here. Ashland should use a manly voice. Sadly, Ashland does not have the voice changer.
Guys, I'm Dalton. I'm the Bible guy.
I could totally create a spam account and then go on our friends' lives using a different voice I don't normally use and pretend to be some jackass Christian. I'm just bad at lying and acting, so I wouldn't be able to convincingly do so is the problem. Chapter says this is the best live ever. I mean, I don't know about that. It's not super duper we're not very super educational today. Mostly because there just aren't very many Christians who are
William's after my heart. William said the real Ashland has more of a tone of authority on YouTube.
And that's why we love her. Darth Duncan, funny. Join Christian Lives with the women voice changer. Oh my gosh. Oh, that'd be so good. I would love that. It had to be a generic username that could be for either men or women, and like a generic picture so that I can just be anyone I need to be in the moment. Fun meducation. Just go around as Darth Dawkins because he's the worst example of a Christian. Right. I mean, look, if I pretended to be Darth Dawkins, I wouldn't even have to like do a lot of research. I just have to learn his lines because he says the same shit over and over again. And then I have to be super condescending. And, you know, it'll be super easy. I can be Darth Dawkins, no problem.
Someone in the YouTube chat says if Dalton knew how to operate his pineal gland, he'd see God right away. It's for circadian rhythm.
Yes.
What is he gonna sleep to see God?
Yeah, pineal gland. I don't know. Listen, people, anyone who's out there pushing all this new age, not hokey pokey nonsense, pineal gland does not create like mystical experiences in the brain. It doesn't do that. It just, as Ashlyn just says, it helps with your circadian rhythm, helps you sleep better. That's it. It's not. It doesn't help that the Hebrew for the face of God, Paniel. So they try to make that connection.
Yeah, it helps. It secretes melatonin as well. So I guess take that melatonin to see God, y'all. Oh wait, that sounded so bad. Don't do that.
Parker says, yeah, that one guy on here saying Jesus came back spiritually in 70 AD. Like, what does that even mean for Jesus to come back spiritually? Can you repeat the Hebrew down? Paniel means face of God in Hebrew. Melatonin gives me nightmares. Oh, well, that sucks. That sucks, Carrie. Sorry to hear that. Yeah, that would suck. Absolutely. It's not as much as coming physically. Yes, I would always prefer to come physically than like spiritually. Coming spiritually, that's what priests do. You taking any extra melatonin always messes with me. So, Christians, everyone make sure you're tapping that screen, sharing the live with those you love, with those you hate, with your friends and with your enemies. Tap that screen.
Tap that screen like Jonathan wanted to tap King David.
And let's get the word out there and have some interesting conversation. So far, we haven't had a lot of interesting Christian commentators. Are they all out for break today or something? I'm on a prescription sleep and MED and take a triple later at melatonin because my sleep is so bad. Wow. Yeah, it sucks. I don't have any problem sleeping. The only trouble I have with sleeping is that I keep strange hours is the problem. I'm a night owl. I literally went to sleep last night at 5 a.m. and woke up at 1:30. So I keep strange hours. Me, the Bible guy. Host, I love your live. I wish I could enjoy it, but some people here block me all the time. Well, Zan, that's because you say a lot of things, but you don't come up and talk to me. Like, I saw the comments. For the Hebrew I use, are you talking about what manuscripts do I use? Generally, the Leningrad Codex is the one I use for the Hebrew of the Old Testament. And for the New Testament, I use the standard. What's it called? I can't remember the name of the document, but the Greco Novum Testamentum Graece is what I usually use. Now, if you mean like what dictionaries or what lexicons do I use, I don't have the budget for the fancy stuff. So the stuff that I use would be the Brown Drivers Briggs for the Old Testament and Thayer's Greek Lexicon for the New Testament, until such a time as I'm able to afford some of the better books. Now, Senior Duck 12, I'm going to ask you the same 4 questions I ask every one of my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
Mr. Should I call you Mr.? Pepe Julian Onzima.
Senior.
Thank you for coming in.
Whatever it is you got playing in the background, I'm going to need you to turn off if you want to have a conversation with me. Otherwise, and you got to do it in the next 30 seconds or I'm going to move on to the next cast.
Why are you gay?
All right. I'm not gay for you. That's 100% for sure. I guess we'll bring up D Beep instead. D Beep, why are you gay? That video. Micaiah would have loved that. And D Beep is gone as well. My bad. Okay, you're all good, D Beep. You're all good. I was hoping that you for some interlocutors, but it seems like Christianity just doesn't have it going on for them today. Why are you running? Yeah, it's good, Lone Drew. That's so good. Yeah, I have to why are you lying? Why are you always lying? I was tapping like David and Jonathan. Hell yeah. Good. Happy to hear that, D Beep. What is wrong with people tonight? I don't know. I don't think. Is it a full moon or something? I don't know. Jay Jape says, I'm so glad you're on YouTube so I can rewind your answer. Rewind my answer. Yeah, sure. Sing that when Christians lie. Why are you always lying? Maybe I should get that on the soundboard. It is full moon in Arizona. Is that where they're calling from today? Wild. Let's see. Full moon, new age, spiritual conspiracy here. Full moon, new age, spiritual conspiracy theories. D Beep says just Arizona. LOL. Chronic Sonic on Tonic says big up Bible guy. Blase apple bottom jeans. Blackberry user says I think I'm in love with who? All right. We got a guest. Joshua Alec 1. Joshua, I'm going to ask you the same 4 questions I ask every one of my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
Yes.
Question number 2, are you a Bible believer?
Yes.
Question number 3, how much of the Bible have you read?
All of it.
And then question number 4, what are your pronouns?
He, him.
All right, Joshua, he, him. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. Which one of the 6 points here on the board would you like to discuss with me?
The Bible's not a good source for morals.
All right. Do you think it is a good? Do you think a good moral would be, for example, stoning innocent women to death?
No.
Do you think the Bible ever supports the stoning of innocent women to death?
Yes.
So do you think the Bible is a good source for morals then?
Not in that case, no.
Do you think slavery is a good source of morals?
No.
Do you think the Bible supports slavery?
Yep.
So the Bible's not a good source? All right. Are you just trolling?
Yeah,
me?
I mean, I'm familiar with. No. I'm familiar with your talking points. I'm a progressive Christian. I refer to myself as an agnostic Christian. I'm Christian, but not convinced that it's possible to know that for sure. I went to the divinity school at the University of Chicago, documentary hypothesis sort of believer all the way. So I fully believe that there's shit in the Bible that's inexcusable and wrong.
All right.
And I think a lot of that was there because of human intervention.
So if
people who are in charge of the church, like the priests in Hebrew times, were building things into the Bible to better themselves, and they're not good for humanity.
So
I think the Bible is.
If I had to choose between the Secular Humanist Manifesto and the Bible as a book for morals and ethics, which one would be better?
I haven't studied the Communist Manifesto, the Secular Humanist Manifesto, in too much detail. I'm familiar with it a little bit. I do think it outlines really great what do you call it, platform for morality. But I do think that the Bible contains things that are good, a good source of morality.
So long
I
as
don't think
we,
it only contains that.
it's like picking pieces of corn from a pile of shit.
Yes.
Do you think? I mean, would you do that? Would you, if you were hungry, would you prefer to have a pile of corn or a pile of shit with a few pieces of corn in it?
I mean, pile of corn, right? I struggle with this a lot. The only reason I called in is because I'm so fucking sick of hearing all of these asshole Christians call in and be just belligerent pieces of shit. And I'm so sick of hearing that and being ashamed to have my faith because of the example that those people set. And the people who
honestly,
hold my faith and are like me.
Honestly, W to you, Joshua, for being a better human being.
Yeah. I wish I could say that's because of my faith. I think it is, but it's not because I hold to a fundamentalist, inerrant reading of the scriptures. It's because I hold to, I don't know, the happy-go-lucky version of scripture.
Couldn't it just be that you're just a good person and you're using the Bible as a sort of as an explanation for your moral source, but at the end of the day, it's really just you're just a good person. Like, there are good people. The Bible isn't inherently good or bad. There are bad people who use the Bible and leverage it for its badness, and there are good people who will be good and they will give and they will attribute it to the Bible, but at the end of the day, it's just bad people and good people. The Bible isn't really really the source of any of it.
Yeah, I mean, that's totally possible. I don't think that lines up with what my experience in life has been. I find I struggle with depression and anxiety chronically for my entire life. And that the anxiety part of that makes you feel, can make you really irritable. And so there are times in my life where I get very angry and about things that don't matter. And my upbringing in the church has helped me like keep that in check. Now the church isn't the only thing that can do that, right? I mean, secular humanist teachings, if I had been raised in that, would very well could have done the same thing.
I think it's
but in my case,
the community that helped, having community and people that you were accountable to also played a contribution in that.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that the goodness in myself, I think that I am good in a lot of ways, and I attribute a lot of that to a desire to fulfill what I see as those good things in Scripture. Like I want to be a good example of the Jesus that I think of, right? The Jesus who says to love people and to honor, to support widows and to care for orphans. Like, I want to be that kind of person. I don't want to be the Jesus who says, have slaves and, calls people a brood of vipers. But I guess I do, because he was calling the Pharisees vipers, and I just called all of the Christians who call in fucking assholes. So I guess.
Well, in that and I think you're justified in calling these other Christians assholes because they are assholes, but you're not. Thank Doug. But Joshua, it seems you have a good moral head on your shoulders. And you have created a sort of like a mascot and fictional image of Jesus in your head that you want to strive to be. I think that really it's more like, I don't think it's really Jesus though. I think it's just, there's the best version of yourself in your mind that you're trying to strive to be. And you're using Jesus as a sort of mask for what that thing really actually is. Because I don't think I think you and I can probably both agree that if Jesus were probably around today, he would probably be a not very pleasant person to anyone who wasn't Jewish, for example.
I don't necessarily agree. I think that that's probably because a lot of the gospels are anti-Semitic in some ways, and I don't know that Jesus was.
I mean, honestly, we can't know anything about the historical Jesus because the gospels are super fictitious in nature.
Well, I mean, we can know some things.
I think
our knowledge is limited.
I think the only thing that we can really know about the historical Jesus of Nazareth was that he was Jewish, that he was crucified by the Romans at the behest of the Jewish leaders. And outside of that, I'm not willing to say much of anything else. But like, for example, the central claim of the New Testament was that Jesus was the Messiah, but there doesn't seem to be any data to support that proposition.
Yeah, no, I think we can also say that he led a group, I don't know how big, of people who were, I guess, rebellious toward the established religion at the time. And I think you can say with some amount of certainty that the disturbance in the temple happened. I don't know exactly what that was, but
I certainly think he did something to piss off the religious leaders of his day, which is what resulted in his crucifixion ultimately. It could very well be a temple related incident, although it's hard to say.
Yeah. I mean, that's the only thing that we have any reason to believe in. I think it's clear that there was the Jews wanted him dead. And probably for good reason, because if he was inciting riots and threatening some Roman intervention in Jerusalem, then let's stop that before the Romans get pissed at us and start destroying Jerusalem again.
At the end of the day, Jesus doesn't seem very much different, though, than from anyone else living in the first century CE. I mean, Jesus ben Ananias also pissed off the religious leaders in his day, just prior to the destruction of the Second Temple. But, I don't have any good reason to believe any of the claims about Jesus. Like, obviously, I don't think the Bible's inspired. I think it's a human-made work. Jesus wasn't the Messiah because he didn't do any of the things the Messiah was supposed to do. He certainly wasn't God. So why not just be a good person instead of believing in all the mythology?
I'm all for that. Yeah, I'm all for that. If not believing in Jesus makes you a good person, then I say go for it. If believing in Jesus makes you a bad person, then I say stop.
Well,
I don't think it's about. I mean, I think the reason that I say that I think the Bible does contain good morals is because you said maybe Jesus is like the avatar of a good person, and I'm just striving to be that.
Real quick,
and maybe Jesus.
Real quick, Justin.
Maybe.
Real quick, I just asked Justin, if you can come up for a moment. I have a technical question to ask you. That's all I had to say. Anyways, go on, Ashlyn.
Yeah, like if Jesus isn't exactly nice towards like women either, so it would just be your own morals that you're establishing onto Jesus. I think, and he doesn't actually consider women in the picture either. One of the biggest things that I look at is that he says the only reason for, and it's also men too, because while it doesn't affect, it's disproportionately women, it does affect men as well. But he says the only reason to get a divorce is sexual, like adultery, like that. But he doesn't give an exception to DV situations. He calls a woman a dog. He doesn't really address us either. I don't know where you're getting all these great morals from. It's not like he turns around and is like, stop doing slavery, treat women well. Give, like, the only thing that he does is like says like, hey, give to the needy, feed people. Like, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't see like this amazingly moral person. I see a kind of more progressive person than a Bronze Age Israelite.
I can agree with you to a point. I do think that Jesus that I see in Scripture is um, treats women well.
Where?
I mean, it seems like he has good relationships with Mary Magdalene. He's, I mean,
Do we ever?
the adultery isn't real, but I think it's a
Well, the
depiction
only
of what.
reason he doesn't stone her is because it would be against the Torah. It would be against the law because they would have to stone them both.
Well, I mean that pericope isn't original,
Yeah,
so I mean,
John 7.53 is not original to the text. I agree.
yeah. So,
Real quick, I have
go
to
ahead.
ask. I have to ask Justin. Justin, I am having trouble with social stream dashboard where my comments and super chats are not showing up.
I've had that happen just once, and completely restarting Social Stream fixed it.
Yeah, I did that. It didn't seem to do diddly squat, but I can try again and see if anything becomes.
There's like a button or a tab or like a slide thing on the upper right hand corner. If it ran an update, it might have turned off your service. You have to check and make sure your service is turned back on.
Oh, where is that at?
Should be on the upper right hand where the links are.
Yeah, it says service active.
Okay, so that's not the problem. The only other time I had this problem, I restarted my computer and it was fine, but you're in the middle of a live stream, so you can't do that.
Yeah, here, I'm just gonna see if restarting the app fixed it or not. Let me see. No, it didn't. Maybe I'll just restart my computer next time and we'll see if anything becomes of it. I have no idea. So I mean, it's been working most time this week, so this is just today. It hasn't been working. But it's fine.
I've used it on Windows and Mac, and I've only had issues with the Windows version of it. The Mac version seems to be not a problem.
Well, I mean, I'm still able to read the super chats, so I just can't pull them up on the screen for anyone. So I'll just have to roll with the punches for today, and we'll see Thursday it's fixed or whatever. Friendly reminder, since Justin is here, everyone, that this Saturday, me and you will be on the line together.
Yeah, for sure. But are you saying that it's loading your super chats and your chats? It's just not displaying them on screen?
So here, I'll show you what's going on. Let me see. Vertical display capture. New. Here we are. You can see my screen here. You know that when you open up the screen for the first time, I'm able to see this thing over here, but on the dashboard, nothing's showing up.
That's interesting. I'm curious if maybe your session ID got updated.
I guess
Mine has never updated before, but it's possible that yours did.
Yeah, I'll see about fixing it later. Can't do anything about it right now. But anyways, hey, thank you for your input. And everyone, make sure that you are checking out the line this Saturday at what time?
We're going to be live, Saturday, so it should be 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
There you go. 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You'll see the Bible Guy and the Justin from Deconstruction Zone on the line together. So make sure everyone, you're keeping your clocks, alarms ready for that one.
May I continue?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, and another example of like these things would be like in Luke, where like Martha is expected like this hospitality position, and he just dismisses her. Like he dismisses women consistently throughout the Gospels. He does. In Luke, in Mark, he does. I
Can
think
we
in
talk about
John.
the one that you just brought up?
Yeah.
Okay. I think that that's less about dismissing her and more about Jesus saying that this is not about like doing all of that, all of the service stuff and trying to prepare everything and being a busybody. Like, just take a moment and breathe and be here, be present.
Yeah,
And
but it's all
I don't think that's
it's also another way in which society has continuously devalued women's domestic labor. That is the thing, is as a man, you don't see the same things that I do when I read this text. When I see this text, Jesus doesn't ever once like say, "Hey, I understand like this woman's going out of her way to do all these things to me," and say he's like, "Hey, look at this other woman who's doing the male coded posturing of discipleship, who's doing this," and simply like he's just sitting over here devaluing another woman's labor. Like, what the fuck?
I guess I don't think that that's what he's doing. I see why you could read it that way. It's just not my interpretation of it. I see it a little bit differently.
When does he ever sit there and say that sex slavery is wrong? That the laws regarding women as property are wrong. When does he ever turn around and say these things? Instead, he does what? He upholds the Torah, does he not?
Yes.
And where are primarily the most hurtful things about women in? The Torah, right?
There are hurtful things about women in the Torah for sure.
It's predominantly hurtful things. Women were second-class citizens. They stoned women for not bleeding their first time. They blamed women for their own rape.
Yeah, you're not going to find me defending the stuff that's in there that.
But Jesus does. Does he not call the laws good?
He does. I know what you're going to say, and you're going to say that he says to follow the entire law, not a jot or a tittle will disappear. And I think that when he says that the law was fulfilled with him, I know a lot of people say that doesn't mean abolish, it means fulfilled. And I think it means what he's saying is that the purpose of the law has been fulfilled. And if you think about the purpose of the law, like according to Milgram, the law was to keep the temple clean, right? So that God could live there. If the temple got dirty, then God had to leave. If God left, then
part of the law of God was regarding the cleanliness of the temple, but the rest, like being circumcised, has nothing to do with cleanliness of the temple. For example, now when Jesus says, "I've come to,"
well, according to Milgram, it does though.
And
sorry, I interrupted you.
There was no temple when Abraham was around, and yet Abraham was circumcised.
Well, I agree with you. I don't believe that those early bits are real. I believe in the documentary hypothesis. I don't think that anything in the Bible is historical prior to David. I think that according to the culture at the time, the idea was that a sin committed anywhere has a deleterious effect on the purity of the temple. The temple was so pure, it was like a magnet for sin. And so when you committed sin, it dirtied the temple, no matter where you were when you committed that sin. That's the model that Milgram talks about in his commentary on Leviticus, and I actually see a lot of support for it, and I think that's.
And he believes that circumcision played a role in keeping the temple ritually pure.
I don't think he believes that actually happened. I believe that he thinks that was the cultural idea at the time. And I agree with him. I don't think that the temple actually got dirty when someone wasn't circumcised. But I think that the culture at the time believed that was true.
So when Jesus uses the word fulfill and tells his audience that, in the last days he will turn people away because they were those who broke the law of God, Matthew 7:23, the word for fulfill, pleroma, means to make something more full. I don't think you make something more full by setting it to the side.
Yeah, I don't think he did set it to the side. So according to the like my understanding of the cultural purpose of the Torah, it was to make sure that God could continue to exist in the community. If the deity abandons the community is at risk for conquer by neighboring people. And in Israel, the idea was we keep the deity here by not sinning, and by keeping the Torah. And Jesus, when he said that the Torah was fulfilled, I think what he was saying was, you don't have to do all of that anymore. The deity won't go away anymore.
Where are you getting
It's
this
been
from?
fulfilled.
So Jesus explicitly tells his disciples to obey everything the Pharisees have told them. And after the resurrection, he tells them to observe all that I have commanded you, which would include these declarations to observe the law of Moses.
I haven't thought about that in particular. That's worthy of more consideration. I don't know. I do believe that the purpose of the law was to keep the deity present, and that's what Jesus was saying, was that
What?
circumcision, the
Sorry, you're cutting out.
oh, that's okay. I understand that like my beliefs don't represent the beliefs of a lot of the people who call in, and I understand also that this is probably a boring conversation to a lot of people, because I'm not like
No, I think you're a good
combative.
person. I think you're a good person. Like, honestly, you've been honest during this conversation, and I really appreciate that.
At the end of the day,
thanks.
though, whatever Jesus says or doesn't say is irrelevant if he's not who the New Testament claims that he was. And because we have no reason to believe that he was the Messiah and the Son of God, I think we can just set aside this religion and aspire to be good people from a better source of ethics.
Yeah,
And
one of my favorite quotes is actually from a Christian scholar, Dale Allison, and he says Jesus' compassion does not eliminate the patriarchal world he inhabits. He actually operates for like within it, and that's the problem. Is when you look to a person during this time period to conduct your morals, I think that inherently you're going to fall short because it doesn't touch on anything that we've learned in the past 2,000 years on how to treat individuals.
I think you're right. I think that if you only hold your morals based on a black and white reading of the scriptures, then you're going to do some awful shit, because it's got some awful shit in there. And I hear a lot of Christians calling in saying that's how we should be, and it makes me angry because there's a ton of Christians like me who say, yeah, there's some awful shit in there. We shouldn't do that stuff. Like, we should love gay people. We should respect transgendered people. We should respect women. We should care for everybody. We should just be loving in any way that you can.
And
there's a lot of Christians like me, but
and
we're
not
not
call
loud.
it a sin and tell them that God and let's just not call it a sin.
Yeah,
'Cause
no.
it's not a sin.
Yeah.
Like I mean, people say that it is, but calling something a sin just because they are the way that they are is going to make
Bullshit.
people hate themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, it's
W,
bullshit.
Joshua.
Well, I mean, I don't know where to go forward with this conversation because it doesn't look like you really strongly disagree with any of the 6 points on my board.
Right. And the reason that I wanted to call in is because I think that you're right, and I really respect what you do, and I love what you're doing by calling these horrible Christians to the carpet. I do think it's important to be careful and to stay away from like universal statements like all Christians are evil or Christianity is a mental illness or religion's a mental, these kinds of like just all encompassing things.
No,
It's super possible.
You won't catch me saying that religion is a mental illness. I studied psychology. Like, that's just inaccurate.
Yeah. And the statements we make here is that the majority of Christian men on TikTok are pieces of shit. And just the majority, not all of them. You're an exception to the rule.
Yeah.
But hey, Joshua, thank you for coming up. I think we're going to move on until we can find an opposition to talk to. But thank you for coming up.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Before I move on and ask Chris Page to come up, I'm going to read some super chats. So,
At William Kennedy with the $10. Dalton, we gotta get you more in your budget. Wondering if you could give a small intro on how the various Bible canons were formed. Like men picked the books that they agreed with. Yeah.
What do you mean, like a small intro? Like, you want me to create a video talking about the origin of the canonization of the Bible? Is that what you're saying, William? Maybe I can get around to making something like that. I wouldn't mind. Not at all. Dalton's voice change always throws me off.
Well, I'm glad that it's throwing you off. Keeping you on your toes. Bad Drew Smith TPA with the $20. If someone wanted a Bible that is only the good bits, it could have been published as a leaflet. This is true. If you hear all about bad stuff in the Bible, you're going to be left with very little, if anything.
I like that.
A leaflet. A pamphlet, yeah. At Rivera Truck Runner with the $1.99. Last chapter of the Book of Thomas. This is a good point to bring up.
For anyone who isn't aware of the final chapter of the Book of Thomas, Jesus ends up saying to Peter that Mary Magdalene needs to become like a male in order to enter into the kingdom of heaven, which is pro-trans people? I don't know. Jesus is pro at least trans men. In that gospel.
Right. They always confuse themselves. They're like, which one do I go with? Which hatred do I hate more, women or trans individuals?
All right. Chris Page, I'm going to ask you the same 4 preliminary questions I ask every one of my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
Yes.
Question number 2, are you a Bible believer?
Yes.
Question number 3, how much of the Bible have you read?
All.
All right. And question number 4, what are your pronouns?
Mr., Miss, Mr., dude, man.
Not
man, sorry.
Pronoun.
I was confused by the question.
Not one of those.
I'm a dude.
Not a pronoun.
I'm a guy.
Not a pronoun.
Do you want a selection? Like, do you want to know?
Mr.
Okay, pronouns are things like he, she.
Oh yeah, okay, good. He. There I am.
I was about to say, it sounded like you just were confused on the question, which is
I was just confused. I guess I just didn't answer it correctly. My bad.
All right, Chris Page, he, him. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. Which one of the 6 points on the board would you like to discuss?
Well, the first question that I was asked was kind of interesting, but just to get into the chat was interesting. I was kind of thrown off by it. So I'm a man. Can you explain to me why you asked me what my pronoun? I'm just confused by that. What does that mean? Well, I'll just the Bible is not inspired. Yeah, why not? Why not say the Bible is not inspired?
I don't have any data to support the idea that the Bible is inspired. It looks no different than any other work from the ancient world.
Okay. Would you agree that, that there are parts in the Bible that are exceptionally beautiful and also parts of the Bible that are exceptionally ugly?
There are a few parts in it that are nice and many parts that are quite ugly, yes. But what does that have to do with it being
So when
inspired or not?
Well, I guess what do you guess you mean by inspired? I mean, inspired. What do you mean when you say the word inspired?
That it is in some way that the meta author of the book is a deity.
Okay. Now, when you go into a library, there's a lot of stuff in a library that's books that I wouldn't want to read, but books that I would want to read. But you would agree that that a library is a testament to human wisdom and the human experience, correct?
Well, it
Not the
can't-
Bible, but the library.
A library can be a testament to human wisdom. It can also be a testament to human folly.
Yes, that's precisely what the Bible is. It's a testament to the wisdom of humanity as it experiences God, and
But-
also the testament of human stupidity.
Is it inspired by God? Is the question at hand.
Sure. Just like, the Bible, the God inspires, people to write great works of art and great works of poetry or great historical narratives.
What would lead me to believe that the Bible is inspired by God as opposed to just being the work of human hands and nothing more?
Ooh, the work of human hands. That sounds like you might be a former Catholic there, for that straight from the Mass. Well, what would lead you to believe that it was inspired? Would you be willing to repeat the question?
Yeah, what should lead me to believe that the Bible is inspired by a deity as opposed to just the work of human hands?
Why can't it be both? I mean, for example, as a Christian,
I don't have any data to support that it's inspired by a deity. There's nothing special about it. It looks no different than any other ancient work.
do you have any data to support that? Well, have you ever been to China, for example?
Nope.
Do you have any data to support that China exists?
Yes, I know Chinese people.
Okay, you know Chinese people. Do you have any data to support that they're not from some sort of, do you have any data to support that?
Yeah, I have.
Like, for example, does this firsthand data?
GPS. I have GPS data, maps. We have works written in Chinese from China. I can buy a plane ticket right now and go to China if I wanted to. Do we have anything of substance that could lead us to believe that the Bible is in any way divine in origin?
The only evidence that you would have using the Bible alone as proof of its divine origin would be basically the authority that you would place in the people that taught you that the Bible is a divine origin. Just like you would have, for example, you probably taken calculus in high school. Wait, hold on. I'm almost there, Miss Ashland. Thank you. But the same reason you know that the derivative is a slope of the line tangent to the curve at a point. You know it based on the authority of people that you trust to tell you the thing.
For that. We have mathematical proofs for.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what?
Mathematics have proofs. The reason why we know that these equations work is because we have proofs. We don't just trust the teacher.
Yes, but Ashlyn, you currently know, for example, that the derivative is a slope of the line tangent to the curve at a point, but you only know that because someone in authority that you trust has taught you that.
No, because I've done the equations and I've had proofs. I can test it.
You can test it now, but you didn't have that knowledge before. The only reason you have that knowledge.
Yes, we did. We had to show our work.
Mhm.
We literally had to do all of that in math. What school did you go to?
Are
you
saying that all you have for why I should believe the Bible is divinely inspired is an argument from authority, which is a fallacy?
Well, the argument from authority, anytime you read the newspaper, for example, you're reading arguments from personal witness.
I don't
So,
just
yes.
believe everything I read in a newspaper because I know that the news can lie. I fact check.
Okay, well, what about this one? Okay, what about this? Do you know for sure that Socrates existed?
I don't.
Yeah, we have his. We have his contemporaries. We have individuals that were during this time. That like his Plato, Xenophon, I think his name, Xenophon, was a historian that lived and wrote during his time period.
And there are some people that say Xenophon's. Yeah, exactly. And there are some people that say, there's not very good proof that for example, Shakespeare didn't write all of his plays.
Sure, but I feel like you're attempting to burden shift. Though, do you have any reason for us to believe that Bible is divine in origin, or is it just going to be that you can't know anything else about history or arguments by authority? Do you have any positive arguments in favor of the Bible being anything other than a human work?
Other than being like a human work that is consistent with like the human experience. I mean, in other words, are you saying there's like, for example, if you went to a library,
all human works are consistent with the human experience because they're written by humans.
Sure. But the Bible, other than the Bible by itself, I mean, I don't know. As a Christian, for example, I was never brought up to believe that the Bible itself would be self-evidently true. I've always brought up in the tradition that it was a faith that was received that can be tested via life experience and things like that. But I mean, the Bible is inspired just like some of the greatest works of poetry and art, and is inspired too.
I don't think any of those things are inspired by God either.
Okay. Really? Yeah. Okay. So, do you believe in God by any chance?
No, but even if I did believe in a deity, like a God, if I was like a deist, none of the 6 points on the board would change. I would still not believe the Bible is inspired, especially with all of its historical and scientific errors and unfulfilled prophecy.
That's interesting because that to me, that's like going into a library and saying, you know what? Not everything in this library is true. Some of it is fables. Some of it is poetry. Some of it is written as a history. Some of it's written as telling me religious, historical truths using religious language. So we're interpreting an ancient book using a modern lens, and I don't think that's fair to the book.
I interpret the book from the perspective of an ancient. I would read the books of the ancient Israelites as if I were an ancient Israelite, and when I understand their worldview from their perspective, I can know for a fact that, for example, when they say that the Earth is a circle, that this is factually incorrect. Or when they make claims about who was the king of Babylon and when, we can test that against the historical record from the Babylonians themselves and know that's not true. Or when they say Jesus fulfilled prophecy and I go back and read their works and see that he didn't, I can test that.
Well, those are some pretty bold claims. I mean, it seems to me that Jesus fulfilled prophecy. I mean, but let me go back to the library analogy.
Not a single one.
Not a single prophecy, but that's interesting. So, but we really can't argue about the Bible if we don't back the argument up and talk about the foundation of the Bible, which would be the idea of God. So we can't really argue about the Bible, Jesus and the Bible.
Even if I believed in God, I still wouldn't believe in the Bible, because the Bible is inaccurate historically and scientifically and makes false claims about its own self.
Yes, but even histories back then, I think Ashlyn, she mentioned the history of Socrates. They wrote histories in a completely different style and a completely different genre than we're used to as modern empiricists.
But he wasn't God. Like, I don't know what you're getting at with this claim. There's a very big difference between me claiming that I have a dog in my backyard and that I can fly on a broomstick.
Yes, but the Bible doesn't make that claim that anyone flies on a broomstick.
The claim that
Jesus rose from the
talks
dead.
about. Yeah, he walked on water.
It certainly makes claims that defy the laws of physics.
Yeah. Yes, if you're reading it, in the way in which it was not intended to be read, sure.
Wait, do you think
are the Gospels not histories?
Yes, there are histories written in the genre from whence they came.
I want to ask, do you think any supernatural event
Wait a minute. Look at John, for example. It begins with this, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. It's written in a Greek style to a pagan audience. You can't just sit there and read it as we would, like some.
Look, dude, I'm aware.
What?
I'm aware of the genres of the Bible. The genres of the Bible.
Are you sure?
I am. Yes, I'm sure. I know what a bios is, for example. I know that the Gospels of Matthew and Luke make contradictory claims about when Jesus was born. I can't trust the Gospels to tell me anything about Jesus of Nazareth.
But the point of the Gospels is not the dates; it's the actual message. For example, if you're telling a narrative in an eyewitness account, do you think that Christians believe that God literally brought the Bible from the sky?
Do you think that the message of the New Testament is that Jesus was the Christ, for example?
Well, I mean, the word Christ means Messiah, King of the Jews. That's a very easy claim to make. I mean, lots of people claim to be Christ back then. So the answer is yes, easily.
And the New Testament makes claims that Jesus.
Christ doesn't mean what fundamentalist Christians mean.
I know what Christ means. I practice Judaism.
Okay.
I know what the Mashiach is.
Okay.
Now the New Testament makes claims that Jesus fulfilled prophecies from the Hebrew Bible. When I go back and read those prophecies, most of them don't even have anything to do with the Messiah in the first place.
Okay. I mean, I'm interested to find which prophecy that you're saying the New Testament claims he fulfills that he does not fulfill.
He doesn't
Which
fulfill
specific prophecy?
He doesn't fulfill any prophecies from the Old Testament. Not a one.
Can you give me an example of a prophecy that he does not fulfill? I mean, I need some evidence of what you're saying. Can you give me an example of a prophecy?
He didn't bring peace to the whole world. Isaiah chapter 2. Nation shall not lift.
Wait, hold on. No, you're not going to gish gab.
I wasn't gish galloping. Gish galloping. I wasn't
galloping. Excuse me. Sorry. I was thinking of jib jab. No, he didn't bring peace to the whole world. Well, no, it's not through yet. The party's not over. Next.
He didn't build the temple.
Next. I need the next question. Huh?
He didn't build the temple?
Yes. I mean, of course, with the historical event of something happened, that of course was talking about the resurrection of his own body. But next, what's the next one?
No, the temple prophecy is a physical building. Read the ending of the book of Ezekiel. It gives you it gives you a description of the temple.
Well, he wasn't talking about the temple.
I didn't ask what Jesus I didn't ask what Jesus was talking about. I asked what the prophet said.
Yes, you did.
No.
Okay. All right. Next one, please. I need the next one. What's the next one?
He didn't gather in all of the Israelites from the four corners of the world and bring them back to the Holy Land?
It's not time yet. It's not time yet. Next.
Okay. Instead of me naming off all the ones he didn't fulfill, can you name me one that he did?
I'm not going to let you gallop or gish galloping. Nope. I mean, you've got to go one at a time.
Did he? No. I can sit here all day and listen to you. Here, I'll just mute you if you can't let me talk. I can sit here all day and name off the prophecies Jesus didn't fulfill. It'd be a huge waste of our time. Can you name me one that he did fulfill?
Yes, he resurrected. He founded, the church. He instituted the kingdom of God.
Where is the resurrection prophesied in the Hebrew Bible?
He brought about the kingdom of God. I mean, that's
I'll
clear.
I'll ask again. Where was the resurrection prophesied in the Hebrew Bible? Book, chapter, verse.
That I don't know. But the Old Testament does.
That's the whole point of a prophecy.
Well, but that's one prophecy. If he didn't,
how about instead you cite me a prophecy, book, chapter, and verse that you know he did fulfill from the Hebrew Bible?
I don't have access to AI with me right now. Let me think.
Surely,
you're literally looking at a screen. Okay.
Surely you know at least one prophecy from the Hebrew Bible that Jesus was said to have fulfilled.
Yeah, he came to save the nations. He's the King of the Jews. He
I don't have
came to fulfill.
I don't have any evidence that he's the King of the Jews. If you were to ask me to provide evidence that Charles was King of England, I could easily provide you that evidence. All I'm asking for is evidence that is like equal to the evidence that Herod was King of Judea.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Kara's King of Judea. Yeah. You could even break down. Do you just not know Messianic prophecy? I don't know. I I will be honest. What I do know about messianic prophecy, my understanding is that messianic prophecy in the Old Testament, according to Bart Ehrman, is that there would be a new king of the Jews that would bring about peace and tranquility and save Israel from exile and save Israel from the dominance of Rome, of the Roman Empire. Well, whatever empire was dominating it at the time. And eventually Rome was conquered by the, I guess you could say, kingdom he founded, if you wanted to find it as Christianity. But I'm not as familiar with messianic prophecy as you are. I must admit my own ignorance.
How about we just look at passages that the New Testament claims that Jesus fulfilled that he didn't?
Sure, that would be great.
For example, I'm going to show you a passage from the book of the prophet Hosea, and I want you to tell me if what this passage is talking about. So,
Hosea, let me go back.
Hosea 11 verse 1. I'm going to actually get a better translation. The New Revised Standard Version.
Mr. Papigorgo, yes, Guest is ignorant. I mean, Guest has had a couple of beers. He probably shouldn't have, but go ahead.
All right. I want you to read to me Hosea 11 verses 1 through 2. It's here on the screen. And tell me what that's.
When Israel was a child, I loved him. And out of Egypt, I called my son. The more I called them, the more they went for me. They kept sacrificing to Baals and offering incense to idols.
What is
Yet it
this
was
about?
I who taught Ephraim to walk. I'm sorry?
Yeah, what are these two verses about?
You know, when Israel's child, I loved him. Out of Egypt, I called my son. The more I called him. They're probably, I'm not familiar exactly. I don't have sacred scripture in front of me right now, but I'm not familiar with the exact context. Now, taking a very superficial reading, it sounds consistent with the Christmas narrative. But I do know that prophecies are,
Wait, what?
not
Wait,
just...
how did Christmas get into here? What?
What?
Okay,
I'm sorry, what?
Here, maybe I'll read it again. I don't know how familiar you are with the
Yeah.
story. Here, when Israel was a child, I loved him. So who is this about?
And out of Egypt, I called my son.
Yeah. Who is this about? What is the first two words? Here, I'll highlight it for you. Who is this passage about?
Well, when I see the phrase "out of Egypt," I'm thinking of two things as a Christian. Number one, the Messianic people. The Jewish people.
How about we just read what the text says? So,
Sure,
who
okay.
is this passage about?
Israel, which means one who wrestles with God. Yes.
Okay, and out of Egypt I called my son. The more I called them, the more they went away from. Is this about Jesus? Did Jesus sacrifice to the Baals and offer incense to idols?
Wait. Can I have a little bit of insight as to what sort of presuppositions you're taking? Do you happen to have a Jewish background or Christian, or because I need to know
Both.
I need to know the lens with which you're reading.
I don't.
So
I read the Bible plainly for what it says.
Okay, that's dangerous.
That's not dangerous.
That's just like reading a medical text. Well, it's like reading a medical textbook with no training.
It's
but
not.
go
It's
ahead.
not, I have training. It's not remotely the same.
Okay.
I can,
all right.
I can read Hebrew. I can read Hebrew. I can read the text to you in the original language if you prefer that.
Okay. Now the let's see. This is Hosea. So you've come from a Jewish background and a Christian background, you say?
I grew up Christian, both Protestant and Catholic at different points in my life, and I've also practiced Judaism as a Noahide. Now,
furtive Pata, you got to remember, you said just engage, don't stall. I mean, this is a 3-on-1 thing we've got going on here.
Well,
some of you might find that sexy, but
that's fine.
I literally hardly spoke.
I'm just vibing out here in the background. It's not my area of expertise right now, so
yeah.
Ki na'ar Yisrael ve'avahu u'mimitzra'im karati lavini. For as a child Israel, I loved him, and from Egypt I have called my son. Kiru lachem. He called to him, and but they went their own way. They sacrificed to the Baalim, and they offered incense to idols, images.
Yeah, that to me, that's clearly the Hebrew people. Sure, yeah.
So this is not about Jesus of Nazareth.
I mean, maybe partially. I mean, remember, prophecy is pretty mysterious. It's not like the cloud of war.
If you pick and choose from the text, then it can be about Jesus.
I mean, Maybe that text is not, I mean, it's not a super big deal, like at least for me.
It seems like I can make anyone fulfill prophecy if I do this same exact tactic. If I just ignore all the verses after or before, and then take one verse, but also cut it in half so I don't read the first beginning of it, then I can make a prophecy sound like about anyone. This doesn't exactly
that's true.
bring confidence to me that Jesus was the Messiah if you're having to bend over backwards so hard in order to make him fulfill prophecy.
Well, I mean, I didn't bring up Hosea, but I mean, the king of the Jews, I mean, the king of the king of, I mean, he's my king. So I guess that does mean Jesus is a king.
Nope.
I mean, you could say he's a king upon.
Can you demonstrate that he's a king other than making the claim? Because if you're going to make the claim that he's the king of the Jews, well, guess what? I know some Chabadniks who believe that Menachem Mendel Schneerson is the king of the Jews. Just because you claim that some dead guy is the king of the Jews doesn't mean that he actually is the king of the Jews. I would actually need some evidence.
Okay, well, let's look at your king. Let's look at your king.
Also, just being
let's
able
say King
to
Charles
say
analogy. Let's look at your King Charles analogy. What makes King Charles king?
He sits on a throne. He has a crown. He rules over an actual people. He governs them, makes laws, has a place in parliament.
And based on what belief? That the people that he serves believe he's a king. It's an arbitrary idea that someone is a king, but they give him the power based on the belief that he deserves a certain amount of power.
If all it takes is for somebody to believe that he's a king, then
that's
it's
what
not
power
a very
is.
impressive
Power is
prophecy
based
to
completely
fulfill.
on belief.
So
look at the MAGA
It's not a
movement,
very
for example.
impressive prophecy to fulfill then, because literally anybody could do that.
Chris, you do know the difference between an actual king and your just belief that someone is a king, right? Like you're joking with this analogy, I'm assuming.
Hello? Take, for example, the idiots that think that Donald Trump was elected in 2020. He wasn't. But they believe it.
Nope. This is election misinformation. You can get the live taken down. No.
No, I'm saying he was not elected.
You're saying 2020. Sorry. I was like, I thought you were saying 2024.
No, there are idiots that believe that he was elected in 2020.
And in the same way that Donald Trump wasn't actually elected president in 2020, Jesus of Nazareth never served as a king in Israel in no demonstrable way.
I mean, whatever. I mean, the first part of your statement I disagree with, but that he was not elected in 2020. There are people that believe it, and but I don't know. Have you ever seen Game of Thrones? For example, this is related to the issue of kings. Have you ever seen
them believing that Donald Trump was actually the president? Was he president?
Oh, in 2020?
Yeah.
Absolutely not. He was not elected. The facts are clear on that.
What you believe Jesus of Nazareth is a king doesn't mean anything to whether or not we have actually ruled as a king in Israel.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't know if you've. I mean, power is based on the belief of the people that give the power over.
So
I mean,
King Herod the Great. King Herod the Great was demonstrably.
But just going to Ashland, for example. I mean, yes, King Charles is the king of England.
What makes Jesus of Nazareth? What makes Jesus of Nazareth more of a king of Israel than Menachem Mendel Schneerson? Is it just the number of people that think he's a king?
What makes him the king of Israel more than? I would say it's the people that believe he's a king. Sure, yeah. I mean, that's what kings are. They're based on the power that the people who believe that they're a king give them.
So even if someone's dead and they're a corpse, they can be your king as long as you believe in it.
But see, I don't believe he's dead, though.
Yeah, well, you haven't yet to demonstrate. I mean, he can't even demonstrate that he fulfilled prophecy. I don't think you're going to be able to demonstrate these are live.
Well, I mean, the issue of Hosea, for example, you said that was about Israel, and it is. I don't disagree with you on that. I mean, is there like a callback or a quote that he come from out of Egypt? Sure. I mean, that's not a specific prophecy.
It's not even a prophecy. It's a recollection of past events, the Exodus.
Yes, but the issue that he came from Egypt, I mean, I know from the Christian theology that's kind of irrelevant. I mean, he could have come from New Jersey. I mean, I don't understand why we're concerned about the minutia. I mean, you do realize that prophecy is not just predicting the future.
Yes, that's it. That's exactly what prophecy is, and I don't accept.
No, to be prophetic does not just mean.
I don't accept this Christian malarkey of reading Jesus post hoc back into the Old Testament where he's not present.
Yes,
if you cannot demonstrate to me plainly from what the text says that this is a prophecy about the Messiah, and that Jesus actually fulfilled it literally and not spiritually or metaphorically, then I have no good reason to think that Jesus is the Messiah any more than I think that Menachem Mendel Schneerson is the Messiah.
I can't demonstrate to you beyond a reasonable doubt that I'm not AI. It's all an issue of your own belief that I'm not AI. I mean,
okay, now we're getting into epistemology, which is my area of expertise here.
I mean, it's just an. All right, go ahead, epistemologist. I mean, you cannot demonstrate that I'm not AI.
So just to be
I'm
clear,
sorry, what?
just to be clear, Chris, you're not able to point me to an actual prophecy that, when read plainly, actually Jesus fulfilled. Is that correct?
When read plainly, from a Jewish perspective, or someone who has, refused the Jewish worldview or the Christian worldview, no. The answer is no. It depends on what meaning you want to apply to the text.
So you can only,
and you refuse to apply a certain meaning that I apply to it. And that's your freedom.
I refuse to engage in eisegesis. Only exegesis. Because
you may cancel me if you wish.
But
I don't know why you're canceling.
Yes, go ahead.
No,
Epistemologist.
don't pull the victim card here. Like, this is not a good look.
Okay, go ahead.
Anyways, as for like how we can determine that if you're AR or not, this all goes back to something called Bayesian inference. Are you familiar with this?
Yes.
Awesome. So you'll know that in order, this is a way that we evaluate claims about the natural world in a very rigorous and data-driven way, in an empirical way. We have a theory that we want to evaluate, we collect data on that theory, and then we determined, using Bayes' theorem, how likely that theory is given a certain set of evidence.
Mm-hmm.
And so we can determine a probability of, like, say, the claim that you are AI. We can look at your speech patterns, what you're saying, how you're saying it, things like that, and then determine that the probability is, in this case, probably very low.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Yeah, so it's chance. Yes, true, but you can't prove it.
Also, I don't think.
Wait a minute. Can you prove it?
Hold on. I don't.
You
think
can't prove.
It won't help.
Wait a minute. No,
either
this
way.
isn't a tip.
Go ahead, Ashlyn.
Hold on, Chris. It's not. If you
Valid.
can't even tell that I'm AI, then you can't make any claims about the text either.
Yeah,
like it absolutely. It is a self-defeating argumentation.
Yeah, this is just devolves into pure skepticism about everything. The whole point of science is not to prove things, because that you can't really prove anything about the natural world, because you can always be wrong, right? And so that really shouldn't be our goal. Our goal should be determine what is probable and what is not probable given a certain set of evidence.
Yeah, and you've yet to give us any data to support that Jesus of Nazareth is actually Messiah.
Okay, can you give me any scientific data that, for example, your mother loves you?
Yeah,
we could.
No, you can't.
Yeah, I mean, like, we can ask her, and then she can say.
So your definition of love is merely chemistry and neuro. It's not really a.
I don't know what you mean by merely. Chemistry is a huge thing, and neuroscience is a huge thing.
Yeah,
like, it's not merely anything.
What do you mean merely?
It's literally one of the most complex sciences in the universe. Like,
yes, but I mean merely because. If that's the underlying presupposition, is that really there is no real meaning to life.
No,
there is no real.
No,
sure,
that's not.
Sure.
That is not. If you've ever studied neuroscience and you come to that conclusion, then you weren't studying neuroscience, because it doesn't make any claim in that regard.
There are many neuroscientists that think that consciousness, for example, is an illusion.
Also, I would say that
what the actual fuck?
Love can be demonstrated through actions. If my mother does actions that demonstrates that she loves me, that would be evidence in favor of the proposition that she loves me. Are you able to provide me any? I'm not, because you keep pivoting. Are you going to be able to provide me any substantial evidence that Jesus was actually the Messiah?
Sure. I mean, he created a massive kingdom that, that a religious kingdom by any chance that, he's the king.
There is no massive Christian kingdom.
Yeah, there is. It's called Christianity.
Islam is also true because it's a massive
well, he's not
religious
making that
kingdom as well.
argument. He's asking if Jesus was the king. He's my king, therefore he's the king.
A bunch of people believing Jesus was the Messiah doesn't make him the Messiah unless he can fulfill prophecy.
The Messiah, as you know, Mashiach means king. You're familiar with
Mashiach, not Mashiach. It's Mashiach. Mashiach means the anointed one. And the Hebrew Bible has very specific prophecies concerning the Messiah that Jesus doesn't fulfill. The only way you're able to make the case that Jesus was the Messiah is by saying, well, if you just ignore what the text actually says, then you can make it sound as if it's about Jesus, but you're not going to convince anyone using that kind of argument. That just demonstrates that your position is weak sauce. I need you to unmute yourself. Hit the little button. There you go.
Hello, thank you. Well, I mean, the hundreds of Christians and believers that listen to your show regularly.
I don't care about the number of people who believe a proposition. That's another fallacy called an argument ad populum. The number of people who believe something doesn't add to the validity of that belief. Jesus either was actually the Messiah historically, having actually fulfilled prophecy, or he didn't and he wasn't. And it doesn't matter how many of you get duped into believing it's true. It doesn't make it more true.
He probably was because of how effective his ministry was. He probably was who he says he was.
No, he cannot be the Messiah unless he fulfills prophecy.
How did Christianity dominate the world?
Wait a minute. Now this isn't fair.
Did you forget a history lesson?
No, this isn't fair.
Don't cry fairness. How did Christianity spread, Chris? Was it through the sword?
I mean, I'm sure. Usually, it started more through ideas than Islam.
No, it spread to be as large it is by graping and spreading disease and unaliving people. The Spanish didn't think that.
Ashlyn,
I'm very familiar.
No reputable historian would make that broad claim.
I literally took college level history. This is a claim that is made.
Me too. Big deal.
So
it's literally called it is cited as being spread through the sword. The Spanish did not believe that the Indian the Native American individuals were not worthy of Christianity, so they slaughtered them. When you look at the Dutch, they were far nicer. When you look at the English, it was very different.
Right?
Like this is like history 101.
Can you make
I know.
Can you provide evidence for the validity that Jesus was Messiah without appealing to a logical fallacy, like an argument from authority or an argument ad populum? Are you capable of doing that? Or is that all you have is fallacies?
And stop saying not fair. Don't you have God or something on your side?
Okay, hold on one second. No, I can't make that claim. I can't make that. No, I never made the claim that God was on my side. But I can't make that claim any more than you can claim that Thales existed or Socrates existed, because you only have a secondhand sources.
The evidence has to scale with the size of the claim.
Christianity is a pretty big enterprise.
It's a big claim, which requires even bigger evidence. That's the point.
If someone says to me, I bought a dog, that's not an extraordinary claim. I don't need much evidence in order to believe that someone bought a dog. If someone says, I have a dragon in my garage, I'm going to need exponentially larger amounts of evidence in order to believe in that claim. That some Jewish guy existed when he was crucified. I'm not claiming that Jesus of Nazareth did not exist. That's not the claim. You seem to be mistakenly making that claim because you keep asking me about whether or not Socrates existed or not. I think Jesus of Nazareth existed as a person. He just did not fulfill any prophecies whatsoever.
This is actually what Bayes' theorem quantifies, by the way. That bigger claims require more evidence.
I think the Christian definition of Messiah and the Jewish definition of Messiah is radically different, and I think that's one of the reasons why he was killed.
Sure, if I make up my own definition of Messiah, then I can make anyone the Messiah.
Well, I mean, they killed Jesus because he claimed to be the Messiah, and also because he claimed, well, the Christian claim would say that he claimed to be God.
They killed lots of the Romans killed lots of people for sedition.
Yes, so yeah, they do. So you would argue, why did they? Well, I need to know your understanding of why they killed Jesus so that I can address this Messiah issue.
We don't have a lot of data surrounding the historical Jesus. At best, what we have is Josephus saying that the Romans executed Jesus at the behest of the Jewish leaders. So he did something to piss them off, but what he did to piss them off, I don't make any claims about, because the Gospels are not reliable for telling us much of anything about the historical Jesus.
Can we pretend, for example, that Jesus was not the Messiah? I have a thought experiment. Is that okay?
I don't have to pretend.
Well, can you allow me to pretend it? Allow me to pretend it. What I think is, say, for example, all of this Jesus business is not, true, regarding, being true God and true man and all that business from the Christian angle. It seems to me that it's reasonable to make the claim that he was killed because he was a pain in the neck. And he caused a lot of, uproar within the Jewish people, and the Romans maybe at first didn't want to kill him, but he was just causing too much drama. And as a result, he was killed not so much for his religious claims, but rather for political reasons, that he was causing an uproar among the people. Does that seem, I'm just pretending I'm an atheist here. Does that seem to you, is that your position? I would imagine that that's probably pretty reasonable.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So he was killed more for that reason rather than for his claim for God. My question is,
Jesus of Nazareth never claimed to be God.
That's true. That's true. That's true regarding, the lack of explicit evidence from the New Testament, other than him saying "I am" and things like that.
Well,
there's nowhere in the New Testament where he said,
not even that's really a claim to being God.
Well, yeah. Whatever the Christian.
He said that the Father is greater than I. Seems like
that's true. That's true.
That he's not.
So what do you, pretending that Jesus is not what I happen to believe he is, what do you think happened? What do you think caused all that? Just why did it catch on? Like from the very beginning, why did people buy into it?
It caught on specifically because it was a Jewish sect that was opened up to Gentiles, because Judaism becomes a lot more like acceptable to Gentiles when you no longer have to cut off the tip of your dick. So Paul's innovation on the Christian movement made it more popular for Gentiles, and what really made it popular at the end of it was when the emperor Constantine accepted it. And of course, when the emperor accepts a religion, the populace tend to follow suit. That seems to be the pattern throughout history.
So, but why? Why did Christianity
super a craze back then as well?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah,
weren't apocalyptic cults really popular back then?
But why did this particularly weird one catch on?
His mom.
Well, one had to catch on, right?
Because of Paul.
His mother. No, his mother as well.
Yeah, Helen, Constantine's mom. Yeah, it's because it was a Jewish sect that was opened up to Gentiles, which opened up the availability of people who could join the cult. It had factors in it which appealed to a Greco-Roman audience, like a savior deity who suffers to attain personal salvation with a communal meal. That's something super popular within those sort of mystery cults from the 1st century CE. And of course, the emperor becoming Christian really surged his popularity. But again, the popularity of a proposition doesn't tell us about the truth value of the proposition.
Okay, so I'm gonna make an admission here. I can't scientifically prove that Jesus was not the Messiah. I can't.
You need to. Can I make a brief interlude here? You can't scientifically prove anything. That's not how science works.
That's true. You're right.
Scientifically find evidence and build confidence in certain models. But you can't do that for this either. So, I just want to lay down the word proof to rest.
Yes. So again, the essential question is, can you give me any evidence that Jesus was the Messiah? The only evidence I can give you is what he's done for my life, but I guess I could say that about a unicorn. So,
And what about all the harm he's done to different people?
what about horrible things? What?
The harms he's done to especially within the LGBTQIA plus community, to women,
I'm sorry, Jesus?
His followers.
Christianity.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of Catholic priests. Half of them are gay. I mean, I mean, there are a lot of happily married men that I know that happen to be gay. I mean, that's another issue. I mean,
It's not. It's
yeah.
being gay is not an issue.
Well, no, it's not. I mean, LGBTQ. I mean, that's
It's the pedophilia.
Yeah,
The
that's-
we
point
have
is that this is not a very convincing.
yeah.
Yeah, this
The
is not a very
pedophilia.
convincing argument, and it seems like you kind of know that it's not convincing, right?
I know that I can't I can't find the proof that you will accept.
Again, not proof, evidence.
Yeah, you
excuse me,
you-
evidence. Thank you very much.
You can't. There's nothing.
What?
How is that? How is that inconsistent? I would love for that to be explained. How is
Well, I
that
was
asking-
puzzled by the question. I mean,
You're being.
I was puzzled by the
you're-
question. You can
you're-
tell
you're
from my
being-
voice.
You're being puzzled by basic grammar. Has nothing to do with whether or not I'm being inconsistent. I consistently ask every single one of my guests what their pronouns are.
Oh, that's silly. You knew by my voice that I was a
Oh.
man.
Nope.
No.
Fun
Look,
fact,
like,
Chris.
even
Fun fact,
even
Chris.
if we do,
Real
Yeah.
quick, fun fact, Chris. One time when I worked at a supermarket here in Texas, I walked someone face to face to their car, dropped off their groceries, said to them, "Have a good day, sir." To which she responded, "If one more person calls me sir, I'm going to lose my goddamn mind." Because guess what? She looked like a man. She sounded like a man, but it turns out she was biologically female and she went by she, her. She just was an older lady. Therefore, she had a deeper voice. And also, she had recently gone through chemo, so she had very short hair. Also, I know plenty of males that don't go by he, him. So I don't assume. And for this, and also it shows me a lot about the person I'm talking to, how easily they're able to answer that question.
So, okay. Well, another thing I said, well, regardless of the sound of my voice, I said Mr. and you were confused. You immediately shut me down.
I
Like,
know some
the
misters
question you
that
were
don't
asking
go by
was,
he, him.
You didn't answer the question. It is as simple as that.
yeah,
It is.
Mr.
it
is not a pronoun.
It is a second
well,
grade letter.
you knew
level.
that you knew that
It
I
is
was
a
a
second grade level grammar question, and you failed to answer it. I gave you a selection. You finally did. What's happening here is you fucking lost the plot of the conversation, and now you're sitting here trying to take it out on the pronoun game because, like all other Christians, you have to have a scapegoat when it's going bad for Christians. Turn and look at them. I mean, conservative media does it. It upsells them by 70%. This Christianity does the same thing. You look like shit doing it because we're all aware of it.
Well, Ashlyn, you kind of looked that way when you assumed that I was a Trump voter. You put me in quite a box.
I know you're not. The way you spoke about Trump earlier, I did not assume as such.
You assumed that I was a MAGA
I
Republican earlier.
I made a compare. No, I didn't. I made a compare. What did I say that would I never
I'm
once said
starting
that.
to build evidence that you actually might be.
Okay, maybe so.
Yeah, like I didn't say any of that.
Kind of hard to make that argument if I were, which I've said before, I'm a Catholic. It's kind of hard to make that argument since Pope
I don't
Francis
give a
was not-
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Chris,
Yeah.
it's honestly,
Anyway, no,
honestly,
but the
also,
answer to-
honestly, Chris, also it's a litmus test. People who end up having such a hard time answering such a simple question tells me a few things about them. It could be that they're just too stupid and they just don't understand how pronouns work, or they're just super dishonest and they just know how it works, but they're huge ass bigots against trans people, and therefore they have to push this idea that, well, it should just be obvious what I am by my voice. But guess what? I know plenty of males who don't go by he, him. It's a litmus test, and you failed.
Okay. Kind of odd, but hey, man, language is always
it's
living.
not odd.
so.
It's not odd. This is normal in our modern day culture. You're odd for pushing back.
It's
against
normal
it.
it's a normal phenomenon in the United
It's
States
called
that goes
not being
back
a
to
jerk to
goes back
just
to the
call
70s.
people what they want to be called. Like,
Okay, well
lose
then why
sleep
don't you
over
call?
this?
Well, then okay, all right.
Chris,
Well,
did you continue sipping those beers because it sounds a lot like it.
no, I had about 2 of them. Okay, well if you want to respect what people want to be called, then hey, I got a friend Jesus over here. Why don't you call him the Messiah?
No, because
Does he want to be called that?
What?
Did he ever actually claim?
Messiah is not a
I
pronoun.
mean, yeah, I mean, I got a friend over here.
Messiah is not a pronoun.
So,
You jackass.
yeah, I mean, no, I mean, well, it's a word.
It's a
not pro-
claim.
Okay,
It's a
well,
cla-
why don't
I
you?
mean,
It's a-
doesn't God say, "I
it's
am
a-
He"? Like,
it's a claim to being a king, and it's not something that's just something that's in your mind. Being a king is not something that only exists inside your head. Unlike gender, okay, gender is a
God?
schema. Being king of Israel, not. He either was the king of Israel or he wasn't. The data doesn't support the fact that he was. The data does support the fact that we do have individuals who go by words like he, him, she, her, they, them, and has nothing to do with what's in between their legs. Look to your God, who you don't think has a penis, and yet he goes by he, him.
Okay, well, I mean, are you? I'm assuming you're a man, right?
Yep.
What are your pronouns?
That is my Jonah. He, him.
Okay, I mean,
See how easy that
you know,
was?
this is kind of gross, but what?
See how easy that was?
What? What? He, him?
Yep. I just answered it.
It's
like
just,
that.
it's a lot. It was a lot easier for you to not even have to ask the question. Clearly, you're a man.
Well,
I
no,
mean,
no, because because
so
when
hard?
I'm
to
sorry,
ask
the cognitive
question?
dissonance.
when I asked the question,
Did it-
it showed everyone in my audience what a shitbag you are. That's what it does.
Oh, okay. Well,
This
that's
whole complaint session is very revealing.
well, no. I mean, it's just revealing the underlying bigotry
You'll
of
let-
many secularists.
You'll know.
Let's
You'll know them by their fruits, and your fruits are very clearly bigotry.
I want to put Chris to the test here. Chris, can you give me a definition for what a woman is? What's the
Yes.
what's the necessary condition to be a woman?
If you need to ask me that question, I'm not sure you have the IQ I need to engage with an intellectual induction.
I think you're not
Try
responding
harder.
because you don't have an answer. So I'll ask again.
Okay,
because
well, I
don't-
mean,
because
there's
because
several. I
don't.
mean-
What's the necessary? Just at least one necessary condition to be a woman.
Well, tell me one necessary condition to be
Nope, I'm not gonna.
alive.
Not gonna
Just
let.
answer the
I'm not
question,
gonna let
guy.
you. I'm not gonna let you pivot. You're gonna answer the question. What is the necessary condition to be a woman?
There's several.
Name one.
One is okay. Let's see. It's kind of not fair because I would have to ask you what's the necessary conditions of being a dog, or being a lizard, or being a bear, or something like
Just
that. But
answer
there's one thing.
Just
Let's
answer
see.
the question. Jesus Christ.
There are exceptions to every definition, so I'll just give you the best working definition.
Yeah, it has to be a it has to be a
There's exceptions to every definition.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what?
By the
Wow,
way,
maybe
by
it's
the
more
way-
nuanced than you originally thought it was.
By the way, I said the necessary condition. So when I say necessary condition, it means that you have to have this thing 100%. And if you don't have it, you cannot be part of this category. Anyone who is part of this category but doesn't have this thing means that it's not a necessary condition. So what is the necessary condition?
You can make that of any grouping. I'll give you a layman's
Can you just
definition of a woman.
just give me the necessary condition to be a woman?
Well, because there are exceptions to every condition. That's not fair. I mean, you know.
So there's not something
Yeah,
that you. So there's
it's
not
almost,
something.
You almost got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's
What?
not a thing that you have to
There are
have
exceptions to
in
every.
order to be a woman.
I mean, most people would say a vagina. You know, most people would say that you have
what
to
about,
have it.
What about people born without who are female who are born without vaginas?
You're talking about the
a
what is
deer.
that
A
called?
deer has a vagina.
Is a
That's
deer a
true,
woman?
but that's not necessary. You can also have a penis and be a deer, Ashlyn. So, let's see.
That
I'm
would
trying
make all deer with vaginas
Women.
women.
Well, anyway, there are some cases. For example, I know most people say a
No,
woman is somebody
your
that has.
necessary condition just made half of the deer population women.
Yeah. So again, I ask you, just so you make sure, a necessary condition is the thing you have to have 100% of the time in order to be part of a certain group. What is the thing that you have to have, no exceptions whatsoever, in order to be a woman? There are females who are born who you consider women who are born without vaginas, and you would consider them women. So it's not a necessary condition. So what's the necessary condition to be a woman?
I can't answer that unless you're going to tell me what's the necessary condition to be
Yeah, I don't
any
have-
other
no.
category of things. There are always exceptions.
No, because you're the one who's making the claim that there are certain people who aren't women, because you think that trans women aren't women, right?
If you have a penis and you're biologically a man and you have an X, here we go. Wait, here we go. Here we go. No.
You cannot be biologically a man.
Wait, hold on 1 second. Okay.
There are no.
If you're a man,
wait,
you have to have several.
Chris, I didn't ask you.
It's not a binary, it's a bimodal distribution.
Yeah. First and foremost, I did not ask you about anything about men, and also man is not a biological term. I am asking you, what is the necessary condition to be a woman? What do you have to have to be a woman? If you don't know, just say, I don't know what it means, what you have to have in order to be a woman. Just say that.
The necessary thing you need to be a woman is a vagina.
So what about females who are born without vaginas?
I don't know of any case. I know some women that are born with vaginas that don't have uteruses. Those are, I think, what do they call? They have a XY dimorphism. I forget the name of it.
There are people born with avaginal genesis who do not have vaginas. They are female. Are they women?
But do they have penises?
No, they have neither penis nor vagina. Are they a woman?
I know that these women that you're talking about usually have some sort of vaginal.
Wait, you just said women. You just said women. So they are women, though they don't have vaginas.
They're women that have. There's some sort of. I guess you could say vagina. Sure, yeah.
No, they're not. They don't have vaginas.
Oh my fucking God.
But I mean, let's look.
I have a much better definition.
We'll get to the definition.
There are
in a second.
exceptions that
I just want
there
can be no exceptions when we're talking about necessary conditions. A necessary condition, the key word there, necessary, means you have to have this thing in order to be part of the category. So obviously, vagina isn't a necessary condition because there are people who don't have vaginas that you consider women. So what is the necessary condition?
As you know, sciences and biology are not quite as clean as you want them to be. It's not like math.
You're basically telling us there are no necessary conditions to be a woman.
No, I'm not going to go that far.
Chris, we actually agree with you. It isn't as neat as you would like, therefore, to box people in and say that anything with a penis is therefore a man is boxing someone in. So thank you. You agree with us.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really put me. I mean, I don't know. That'd be tough to just say.
Yes or no? Are you able to give me a necessary condition for what is in order to be a woman?
I mean, I think most people would say it's a vagina.
But there are people who don't have vaginas that you think are women, so it's not necessary.
I'm gonna as soon as it's over, I'm gonna definitely look that one up.
Go to Yale and look up the difference between sex and fucking gender, and look at every medical institute in the United States, and you're gonna be mind blown.
Yeah, well, I think many people, even in Europe, would say the gender ideology is pretty new. It's only 50 years old. So
no, it's not.
No, because guess what?
Well, you get Wikipedia.
Your Bible has something to say about it.
Does God the Father have a dick?
Huh? What?
Does God the Father have a penis?
I've never thought of such a thing before, but I do know that gender ideology is relatively new.
Does God the Father have a penis? Or is
I
it
don't see
immaterial?
that in the prompt.
Or is he incorporeal?
Incorporeal. I mean, I know.
You're Catholic, correct?
God the Father. I try to be. I suck at it. But,
so as a Catholic, you have to believe that God is incorporeal. He doesn't have a physical body. It's the whole point of the idea of the incarnation. God the Father doesn't have a physical body, so he doesn't have a penis, correct?
Yeah. I don't think he would need one. Okay. I mean, I don't know.
He's not biologically male, correct?
I never really think of it that way. He's beyond that sort of category.
Does he even have a biology?
Huh?
Does he even have a biology?
I mean, there would be no need for him to have a biology. He's not a being in the world.
So
he can't be biologically male if he doesn't even have a biology.
God doesn't have a penis. He's not biologically male, and yet you call him a he.
Yeah, I just call him a he because that's what Jesus called him. His gender is not the most important thing about him.
No. You are acknowledging then that there is an individual who's not biologically male, yet you call them a he.
Wait, really? Yeah, I do. I mean, but it's not a big deal.
So you do understand that God's gender has nothing to do with sex.
I mean, he doesn't need sex to create life.
So he has a
I mean,
gender,
not
but
biological sex.
so he has a gender, but he doesn't have sex.
I don't think he has sex. So.
I also
there
want
would
to
be
go
no
back.
need.
You said it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
really
why are you
not
guys
that
making
big of
such a big deal
deal.
about it?
He doesn't think anything that's worthwhile talking about is a big deal. Is the problem?
What?
But like this whole thing doesn't have to be a big deal if you just
It's not a big deal.
if you just say what people want to be called.
I mean, as
Like,
long
you're
as they don't
turning
make me
this
call
into
them
a big
something
deal.
they're
It
not.
could have just
that's
been
fine.
over and done
Well,
with.
here's the thing, Chris Page.
But now you're lingering
You've
on this.
given me no good reason to think that trans women aren't women. So when you say, for me to call them something they're not, well, guess what? Trans women are fucking women. They're not asking you to call them.
You can't compel speech. That's.
I know.
That's
I
getting
can't compel you, but guess what? You're going to be a dick and an asshole, and you're also just going to be wrong. That's fine.
Okay. I mean, yeah, that's kind of a new idea, but
No, it's
I
not.
mean, this is.
It's not a new idea.
Chris, trans individuals have existed for century, for a very long time. People that did not fit into classic gender roles. Just look at Native American cultures. We know that this is true. Just because you're not aware of it and it hasn't been here or present within the Western Hemisphere, as far as white people are concerned, doesn't mean that it didn't exist.
So let's just do a recap real quick. One, Chris has not been able to demonstrate that Jesus was the Messiah by any means. He also has not been able to give us any necessary condition it takes to be a woman. And also he doesn't understand how sex and gender work. That's the summary of this conversation so far.
That's 100% accurate. Way to go.
All right.
So you're.
Bye. Thanks for admitting that you're an idiot. Gee whiz. Anyways, I'm gonna read some super chats.
How you doing?
Yeah, I always feel good every time I tear apart a transphobe bigot asshole. All right,
You'll love to see it.
love to see it. Everyone point at Chris Page and laugh. Anyways, we're gonna read some super chats now. Let's see. I got a couple of them actually. Let's take a look. All right.
At Trump failed. Ha ha. With the $2. What program is the voice changer? It's Voice Mod V3. Which has both a soundboard and a voice changer. Then we have here at William Kenny with the $10. Sorry, I was just wondering if you could give just a short explanation on how the various canons were formed, because to me, it seems like a bunch of men with their own agendas picked what they liked.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong, William. This is in fact basically how the canon gets formed. The idea of canon is the invisible, arbitrary border that men have formed around the Bible. Basically, up until around the 3rd or 4th century CE, you don't have a Bible. You have a loose collection of scrolls and books from across Jewish and Christian religion, and the Catholic Church decided that, well, there are certain books that we consider to be inspired, and certain books that we don't consider inspired. And generally the criteria for this were these books universally accepted by the church at the time? Were they used in the liturgy? And were they apostolic in origin? These were the criteria that they chose to decide what would and wouldn't be considered part of the canon. Now, that canon was included more than just the 66 books that are typically found in Protestant Bibles. Even ancient Protestant Bible, I say ancient, even older Protestant Bibles like the original 1611 King James Version Bible included more than just the 66 books of what are in modern King James Version Bibles. They included books like First and Second Maccabees and Tobit and Judith and et cetera, et cetera. The reason those books were taken out of the Bible was because amongst Protestants, they became less and less relevant. And as soon as Bible printers saw an opportunity to shorten the amount of pages that a Bible required, therefore making printing Bibles cheaper, they took the opportunity and they ran with it. And therefore Protestant Bibles went from being 73 book canon to being the 66 book canon. Now, the Ethiopians also had their own canon altogether separately, and Jews didn't have a canon for the Bible until around the medieval period.
Actually, I don't mean to correct you here, but cannon is what I use to launch rounds of heavy ammunition at my enemies.
Yes. Okay. So the word canon that we use when talking about the Bible comes from a word which means ruler or measuring rod. And I don't know where the word cannon for like the big giant comes from. I have no idea. All right.
It's what we launch transphobes out of.
Yes, it's what we launch transphobes out of. Love that. That's the only canon I accept. All right.
At Drew Smith, TPA, with the $10. A person understands that China exists, but can't identify his pronouns. So he took geography classes, but not English classes. They are all required in elementary school. Indeed, it seems like Chris was a bit a few nuggets short of the Happy Meal. Absolutely. Grammar, very hard. Geography, apparently not so much. And then
12 cans short of a 6-pack.
12 cans short of a 6-pack. Love it. And then at Godwin with the $1.99. Do you know who I am? On the effing Bible guide, Biznitch. Absolutely. And don't you fucking forget it. And then we have at Dr. Joe Executive Sober Coach with the $10. Read Joshua Progressive/Liberal Christianity sounds great. It's probably the reason I stayed into my 40s. Unfortunately, it's disingenuous with the text, and it allows toxic Christianity to continue. This is true. Progressive liberal Christianity does provide a sort of shield for more conservative, harsher forms of Christianity to continue. This is not false.
Also, if you're not following Dr. Joe Recovery, you should be. She's awesome. She educates. I love her takes on things. Go follow Dr. Joe Recovery.
At Herbie Shines with the 10 quid, saying, just woken from an old man nap and watching from the start. I'm having a bad day today with depression. SAD and SAD and BPD all shouting at me. Nice to have some Bible guy time though. Well, Herbie Shine, I'm glad that we're able to provide you some amount of modicum of joy and happiness in your dreary day. Keep doing you, King, and being awesome. Love to hear from you, Herbie Shine. Make sure I mark that off. And then at Drew Smith TPA again with the $10. We can't prove that he isn't AI, just as we can't prove that we are not brains in a vat, or that we aren't just in a big video game. So what? We make reasonable assumptions and work from there. I agree, Drew.
Actually, I know that I'm a brain in a vat.
Oh, shit. Well, I'm glad to be part.
Yeah. Sorry to reveal this now, but, you know.
It's nice to know that I'm what you dream about. Zach Petrodoff with the $5, saying, it's really unfair that a god lacking his own Richard required his followers to remove their foreskin Hashtag Rickless God. Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, I have a theory that foreskins are to Yahweh what garlic is to Dracula. And that's why Yahweh was so adamant for them to remove all their foreskins. At Mike Internet 001, this is the last super chat we'll read before we move on to the next guest. At Mike Internet 01 with the $6.66. Hail Nero. Science is in Transition by Liv Adar and Spencer Barrows. Necessary listening for that transphobe guy. Well, Chris, you have your homework. Go and do it, although transphobes don't really like to read and don't do homework, so I find it hard to believe you'll actually engage with the content.
All right. So, Soiled Fern, I'm going to ask you the same 4 questions I ask every one of my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
Yes, I am.
Question number 2, are you a Bible believer?
I am not. I'm a friendly.
All right, then I'll skip question 3 and go to question 4. What are your pronouns?
They, them.
All right. Remember, Chris, how easy that was if you ever want to come back up here. So, sorry, I forgot your name. Okay, Spoiled Fern, they, them. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. What brings you up to the show?
Well, I had to say something about that term that the guest used, gender ideology.
Oh, yeah.
I find that really triggering these days. So I just want to clarify something for everybody, because I feel like everybody could use this little lesson.
Yeah.
We don't have an ideology for gender. Gender is a matter of psychology and a little bit of biology. Like this is not an area of ideology, because ideology is about the competition of ideas. It is a political concept. It is not something that we are debating when we talk about gender. All we're debating is whether or not people are using accurate information. So when you hear somebody say gender ideology, they've been schooled by Fox News and a number of other media outlets to use this tactic to drag a discussion about our biology and about our physiology and about gender and concepts of psychology and neurology into the realm of politics, where then they can compete. We are not competing. I do not have to compete to be a they, them. That's all.
W to Fern, absolutely. It's such a good take. Yeah, I didn't even catch that. I'm glad you caught that. Yeah, not an ideology. That's just some bullshit from the conservative right who don't know jack shit about sex, gender, and pronouns and basic English grammar. Yeah. Well, thank you for that.
It reminds me of the people. It reminds me of the people who use the word scientism as if science has a ideology behind it.
Yes, or evolutionist. Yeah. Do you love evolutionist?
Oh, yep, that one. Yep.
Darwinist.
Great. All right. Well, anyway.
Yeah.
Yes, that's terrible too. So, sopping wet for Ashland. Have a good night, everybody.
Have a good night, Spoiled Fern.
Have a good night. I waved like I'm on camera.
I did too, actually.
Oh, what a lovely, what a lovely guest to have. Okay, we're gonna move on. I think this next guest is probably going to be our last guest for the night. The winner 2222. I'm going to ask you the same 4 questions I ask every one of my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old? Hello? Hello?
The winner. Did you mean to join?
Might have come up by accident.
The winner.
The winner. The winner.
The winner.
You've won.
Listen, this is the... Wait.
The winner. This is the Lord thy God.
I'm sorry.
Oh, you are forgiven, my child. May you go in peace.
Well, so much for that. Hey, I mean, maybe he was subconsciously clapping. I mean, tapping. Jesus, Jesus Christ. Oh man. Okay, 1 second. How do I fix this? Like that. Okay, there we go. All right. Well, I guess that's it for the
I don't trust my subconscious. I don't trust my subconscious anymore.
Yeah, for real. Okay, I guess we'll bring up. This will be our last guest. We got here, Freddie. Freddie, I'm going to ask you the same 4 questions I ask every one of my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1: are you at least 18 years old?
Yeah.
Question number 2: are you a Bible believer? And if you could, please speak up a little bit. You're a bit faint.
Okay. Yes.
Question number 3: how much of the Bible have you read?
All of it.
All right. And question number 4: what are your pronouns?
He, him.
All right. Fantastic. Freddie, he, him. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. Which one of the 6 points on the board did you want to discuss with me?
I am interested in why you say that Jesus was not God.
He never made the claim. I don't have any data to support the fact that Jesus was God. I don't have any data to support the fact that Jesus was God.
Why is that?
Because Christians haven't given me any good reason to think he's God. Do you have a good reason why I should think he is God?
Well, I mean, the only source I would really have is the Bible, if
But
that is
The
what you're
Bible,
going by.
the Bible doesn't make the claim that Jesus is Yahweh.
Well, I would say it does, that he does.
Where?
Matthew 13.
If you leave the screen, I can't hear you. I heard the word 13.
You're cutting out. Your Wi-Fi or cellular service is not very great, Freddie.
So what was that?
Snap. I said Revelation 22:13. Can you hear me better?
So Revelation 22:13 doesn't really provide us evidence that Jesus is God, just that he has one of the titles that are also associated with God. But that's not a problem because anyone who is a bearer of the divine name can share even in the titles of God. For example, the angel of the Lord in the Old Testament has some of the titles that are associated with Yahweh himself. But that's only because Jesus is the bearer of the divine name.
Wait, so how does him being the bearer of the name not include him being God?
So, for example, in Israelite ideology, Israelite worldview, God could bestow his name upon other individuals, and the divine name served as a communicable vehicle for divine agency and authority. In other words, that by bestowing his name onto another being, God can give that being authority and power and all sorts of things that come with having. It's like having a badge of office that says, I have the authority. For example, the angel of the Lord is able to say of itself that it is the God of your fathers, not because it is, but because it's the bearer of the divine name. In other words,
Wait, so it can also claim to do things that only God did or can do?
yes, like for example, the angel of the Lord is able to forgive sins because it bears God's name. See, for example, Exodus chapter 23, where God says about the angel, make sure that you obey all that he does, and if you don't, he will not forgive you of your sins, for my name is in him.
Okay. Yeah, I'm aware with the angel of the Lord. However, why does it have to be agency? I would ask.
Agency? Yeah, because the angel has agency. It's able to act on behalf of Yahweh and do things for him.
Yeah, but I'm saying is that why can't it be God? Why does it have to be like in the form of agency?
Why is it that Jesus can't be God? Because he says things about himself that completely contradict the idea that he is God. That, for example, that God is greater than him. He says, the Father is greater than I. God cannot be greater than God.
Well, the thing is, if you would look at his like position and his humbled state and how he's actually still limited to things as a human, in that sense, the Father would be greater than him.
It never states that like hierarchy between God and Jesus ever changed. In fact, Paul writes in his own works that God is the head of Christ after the resurrection. So still, God is greater than Jesus.
Yeah, in a monarchical sense, as in the Father is greater than him giving him commands, but that
So
doesn't relate
God
to
is greater than God.
the change in natures.
So, well, there's nothing in the Bible about
In a monarchical sense.
So
Yeah,
God.
Why would God
so
give
God is
commands
greater
to
than-
himself?
God the Father in person would be greater than God the Son, just in that
So
rank. In a
God
monarchical
is greater than God. So there is something that God the Father has
in a monarchical sense.
that God the Son doesn't have.
No, they both are the same,
No, they're not the same.
except for in personhood.
If they were the same, they would always have the same limitations.
Yeah.
No, not unless one of the persons took on a human nature.
But you can't partly take on the nature. You have to do it all or nothing. If it's one being.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
No.
the person of Christ took on the full nature of.
So to be clear, you think that God is greater than God and that God prays to God, talks to himself basically, that he worships him, and says that he can do nothing except for what he sees God doing, and that you shouldn't call him good because only God is good.
Oh, okay. Well, that was quite a bit of stuff. Well, what was the first thing you had said again?
That God is greater than God.
Oh, okay. So God the Father would be greater than God the Son in the monarchical sense.
God the Son.
Monarchical sense, yes.
God the Son is not a biblical phrase. Nowhere found in the Bible. These are post-biblical philosophical innovations.
He's the Son of God.
Well, so was Solomon.
Yeah, but the Son of God, in reference to Christ, refers to his divinity along with God, the Father.
Well, Jesus certainly has a divinity in the New Testament, but it's not a divinity that is like the divinity of Yahweh. It's just the divinity of a highly exalted being.
Excuse me, repeat that again.
Jesus in the New Testament certainly has a form of divinity, but it's not the same level of divinity as God. It's just he's just a highly exalted being. There's nothing in the New Testament that would lead me to believe that he's in any sense equal with God.
And why is that? Other than the fact that he said that he's greater.
Yeah, the fact that he says to a follower who calls him good that no one is good, but why do you call me good? No one is good but God.
Well, that's actually a rhetorical question, and in that sentence, he doesn't actually deny that he's God.
No, I would say that is a denial of God.
No, he's saying that by you saying good, calling me good, you're implying this, and he's saying the only person that's good is God.
Yeah, which by saying that he's declaring that he's not God. How about we don't read things into the text that aren't there? What does it plainly say in the text? Someone makes a claim that Jesus is good, and Jesus' response is, "Why do you call me good? No one is good but God."
Yeah, and what I just said is a very high possibility.
Well, I don't care
There's
about.
nothing wrong with what I
I don't
said.
care about. See, that's what apologetics is. Apologetics isn't about finding out what is true in regards to the Bible. Apologetics is the act of jimmying up the slightest, tiniest possibility of what could possibly be in order to excuse a dogma. But we don't do that here. If you're going to make the claim that Jesus is God, you have to make it from the text itself. Jesus doesn't. So Jesus.
Yeah, he did not decline.
This is him declining. Now, Jesus, if he were God, he would have to have authority inherent to him. And yet, Jesus has to receive authority from God. How do you receive something? Like, for example, this is my phone. I own this phone. Are you able to give me this phone?
Well, if you gave it to me, yes, I could give it back to you.
But I didn't give it to you.
Well, I'm saying if you did.
I didn't.
Dalton
no,
is asking
I
right now, can you give him the phone?
Oh, okay. No, I can't give it to him.
Okay. Jesus says that he receives authority from God. Never once does he ever say that he gave authority to God.
Why would he give authority to God? He already has it.
No, he doesn't. You cannot be given something that you already have. Jesus says in Matthew 28, all authority has been given to me. You cannot be given something that is already yours.
Well, I won't speak on that right now because I don't have my notes with me on that. But yeah, I will concede to that point. The other point you had said was something about. Gosh, it was when you were making a list
and checking it twice.
Excuse me?
What was a bad joke? Never mind.
I thought it was a good joke.
It was a good joke, Quant. I was checking my list and checking it twice, finding out that the transphobes are naughty and not nice. So Freddie, do you have anything that's going to lead me to believe that Jesus of Nazareth was God?
Well, yeah, I stated at the beginning that he claims to have a title that only God could have, and the agency thing kind of doesn't make too much sense to me, especially in reference to things like Judges 13, I believe, where what's his name, Manoah, if I'm correct, that is his name, right?
Mm-hmm.
The father of Samson, the father and mother of Samson.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
They
I
see
don't-
the angel and then they claim
I
to
never-
have seen God.
I never understand this claim that like repeatedly, especially in John, Jesus like basically says he couldn't say it other than, "Hey guys, I'm not God," like more clearly. Have you read John?
Yeah, I have, but he doesn't actually say I am not God, just like how he doesn't say I am God because he's talking to Jews.
In other words, in order to understand these passages, you have to come about them from a Jewish perspective. And when you do that, it becomes quite clear that he's not claiming to be Yahweh. At most, he's claiming to have the same sort of ability and authority that the angel of the Lord had in the Old Testament.
But then you'd have to prove that it's agency and not the fact that this angel is actually also God.
Why would I think
Which
that? Why would I think that
which
an
people
angel is
claim to
God?
have
Wouldn't it be a what's
no?
the
Wait, hold
Thor
on.
version
hold
of a
on.
trinity?
First of all, doesn't angel mean messenger?
Yes.
Also?
Why should I
I
think
mean, it's
that?
not
Why should I think
yeah,
that?
exactly.
Why should I think that the messenger of Yahweh is Yahweh himself?
Because it's a separate person.
That
And
would
this-
lim-
and
that
this
would
separate
that would
person
that would
Which
leave
branch of the
done
Trinity
things-
would it even be? Or would it be a fourth branch?
Wait, hold on. What was that?
which branch of the Trinity would it even be, or would it be a fourth branch?
Oh no, that would be Christ. The angel of the Lord would be Christ.
God. Well, that if you want to say the angel of the Lord is Jesus, that's fine, but that doesn't mean he's God, because I don't have any good reason to think that the angel of the Lord is Yahweh. I'm going to take the position of looking at this text from the perspective of like how an ancient Israelite would have understood this, and the concept of like angels who bear the divine name. Like for example, are you familiar with the lesser Yahweh in Jewish angelology?
Are you talking to somebody? What was that?
The lesser Yahweh, the Yahweh Katan from like the book of Second Enoch.
No.
So there's an angel called the Metatron, who's also called the lesser Yahweh, and this angel is just the person named Enoch, who has been elevated to the status of an angel, and yet he's called the lesser Yahweh.
I just have I've really been thinking about what he said. It's for a Jew. Wasn't Jesus Jewish? If John was for a Jewish audience, and the Jewish people wouldn't believe that, and there's no evidence saying that he would have been.
Oh, the Gospel of John
Like,
was
you said-
definitely not for a Jewish audience.
Yeah, I know, but I'm running with what he gets. It's like, if it is the case, Jesus was a Jewish person, so he wouldn't have believed himself to be God either.
Well, yes, he did. The thing I was referring to is the fact that if he were to come out and say, "I am God," just like that, then that would just be a form of blasphemy.
But when we look at these words,
It wouldn't have
revealed
made
to
any
them.
sense then.
But if we look at these words of Jesus and the Gospel of John from a Jewish perspective, they wouldn't lead us to believe that Jesus was Yahweh. That's the thing you're missing, is that the Jewish perspective doesn't get you to, this is him in an encoded way saying he's Yahweh. This gets you to, he's saying that he's just a divine being, perhaps even like an archangelic figure, but it doesn't get you to him being Yahweh. Like, you wouldn't make the claim that Enoch was God, right?
No.
Even though in Jewish literature he's called the lesser Yahweh. That you're recognized on a non-God being can be given titles and names associated with Yahweh without actually being Yahweh himself. Freddie? Freddie, I'm going to need you to respond, because this is like, we're at the end of the show and I need you to converse with me.
Yeah, my bad. I was busy. I'm actually not very familiar with Enoch, and that part of Jewish literature. However, back to the angel of the Lord thing. To claim to do things and to be God, and then people think that you are God, that would definitely make you God.
No. Because you already acknowledge that Enoch wasn't God, and yet he's called the lesser Yahweh. And also, the text tells us in Exodus explicitly why it is that the angel of the Lord is able to do. Also, the text of Exodus also tells us explicitly why it is that the angel of the Lord is able to do these things, like forgive sins, for example. It's because we read Exodus chapter 23. And here, let me I'll just go over here instead. Exodus chapter 23. Let's see. When we get to the part where it oh yeah. 20. I am going to send an angel in front of you to guard you on the way, to bring you to the place that I prepared. Be attentive to him and listen to his voice. Do not rebel against him, for he will not pardon your transgression. For My name is in him. Oops. The reason that this angel is able to do these things that Yahweh otherwise would only be able to do is because he has God's name in him. The divine name serves as scholars would say, a communicable vehicle for divine authority and agency. Nothing more. If you're going to make the claim that because he has the titles and acts in the way that God does, then he must be God, then you now have to make the claim that in Judaism, Enoch was considered God, and no Jewish person thinks that Enoch was God, even though he's called the Yahweh Katan, the lesser Yahweh. I cannot hear you, Freddie. I'm going to need you to respond with what I'm saying, or I'm going to have to just drop you, because we're at the end of the show. I'm already over time, and you're not being very back and forward with me. I'll give you 30 seconds. If you don't respond at the end of the song, I'm going to drop you.
Hello?
There you go. Can you respond to what I said, or were you listening?
Yes, I was listening, but it was cutting out. You were talking about how if I were to say that,
if you're going to be consistent, you have to make if you're going to be consistent, then you have to make the claim that according to Judaism, Enoch was God.
well, like I said, what was the reasons for him being called the lesser Yahweh, and like what were the actions behind it?
Because Enoch was elevated to the status of the highest of all God's angels and was bestowed God's name in order to give him divine authority. That's why he can be called the lesser Yahweh. It's the same reason why Jesus in the New Testament can have titles and powers associated with God, because as he says in John chapter 17, God has given him his name. Father, protect him in your name, your name, which you have given me. John 17:11.
Yeah, and then he also claims to be the truth and the life.
And that doesn't
How
make him
could you claim
God.
to be that if you are not God?
Because Jesus was the perfect reflection of who God was, because he acted in such a way that mirrored who God is. Jesus can say, I am the way, the truth, and the life, because to act as if you are Jesus is the righteous way, the way to the Father.
All right, so him making claims and being called God, even all that, it's really just
the Greek word theos,
imbued with the name.
Yes. It's no different than Enoch within the Enochic literature.
Like I said, I'm not really too familiar with the Enoch literature.
I would suggest watching the videos on the channel Religion for Breakfast on the Enochic literature. Type in Religion for Breakfast Enoch, watch those videos, and then you'll have a better understanding of the nature of also Dan McClellan has a few videos on the topic of Jesus as the bearer of the divine name.
Oh, okay. Alrighty. Well, thank you for your time.
All right. Have a good night, Freddie.
I found this very educational. You too.
Well, all right. We're going to read some super chats, and then that'll be it for the night because I have got to go eat dinner. So let's see. Pretty esoteric. It was pretty esoteric, probably. Yeah. All right. Where are you? Super chats. 1 second. There you are. All right.
At Helping Maga Deconstruct with the $5. The Sumerians, who have the oldest writings we have, had more than 2 genders. The idea of gender being only a binary is newer than transgender people. This is true. This is true. The idea of a gender binary is something that's pretty. It's not something universal across the field, no matter who you go to. You're gonna find different forms, different ideas of gender among different cultures because gender is a social schema. All right. At helping. Oh wait, I just read that one. And at J. Tullius, with the $2, saying Italian canon, which means a larger tube. So that's where the word canon comes from, that we use in regards to like blowing shit up. Like that's a canon. Well, the Italian canon, meaning large tube. All right, and the final super chat for the live is at Gretchen Z with the $3.11. Your voice mod sounds like the voiceover at Explore With Us. Oh, Explore With Us. Iwu. Oh. On the night of January 27th. It does, maybe that's what they use. His voice is pristine. And that's when he knew he fucked up. They would never say that, but they can keep. Alright then.
So who is live right now that we can send a raid to? Let's take a look. Oh, I got a message from John.
From the Bible?
Oh, what the hell is that? It's just a picture of no, not John. John, Godless Engineer. He just sent me this picture of a horse with a horse mouth like a freaking xenomorph.
Reggie is live.
Godless Reggie. All right, everyone. Make sure that you and for the mods in the YouTube chat, make sure you find. I'll give you long enough to go find a link to Godless Reggie's live and post it in the comments of the YouTube channel. So everyone, make sure you go over to Godless Reggie's live, and tell them that the Bible guy sent you. Overall, Ashlyn and Quantanaut, what did y'all think about today's live?
I picked up at the end there.
It certainly did. It was a bit of a slow burn, but then we got like a transphobe that came in, and everything just kind of took off after that. So transphobe out there, thank you for lighting the spark of my live. You're helping to pay my bills. Very much appreciated. Let's see. Do we got any? Has anyone here? Ashlyn, how about you? Oh wait, you got it. All right, YouTube Punk. Thank you for. Yes, that's the guy. Thank you for putting the live chat live link in the chat. God, what is wrong with my sentences right now? Maybe it's all the hunger.
He has a YouTube as well.
Yeah, he put the YouTube in there.
Okay, cool. What's the? Did he do it in YouTube or?
Yeah, he did it on YouTube. All right.
Okay, cool. You got it. Thank you.
Fantastic.
Oh, Punk, thank you.
And don't forget, everyone, today I've been the Bible guy, and remember to keep reading, keep learning, and happy holidays. We'll see you all again Thursday at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. Bye.
Born from dust and questioning fire, wielding truth like a sword of desire. Ancient scrolls and cosmic flame, he tears through myth, he breaks the chain. Echoes of prophets, the stars align, knowledge and thunder into